engine is 4 cylinders, maximum of 2.5 liters, and they'll put out about 200 horsepower. The starting field, the man who won back at Lake Geneva, Geoff Kincaid from Crandon, Wisconsin. Tom Hockers from Greenleaf at age 29 will be in the 705. Also in the field, Jim Wiggins in the number 786. Scott Taylor, he also drives in Class 8 and the heavy metal competition, a busy man today. He'll be in the 700. The rest of the starting field is on your screen. We should tell you, John Greaves broke a drive shaft in practice. Ivan, he will not make the starting field, and that's going to hurt him in the points.
And that is a shame because John has always been a very, very strong competitor here.
As you can see, a huge field, Class 7S, 4 abreast. This is on board with Geoff Kincaid out the rear of his truck. The green flag drops. We are underway. Oh, somebody stalls on the front row, and I think that might be Kincaid. Looks like he got a horrible start.
He looked like he might have been in neutral or something there, Marty.
Well, as we head for the first corner, that is Jimmy Crowder leading the pack. Oh, and boy, it looks like Scott Taylor gets tagged, and a couple more get tagged behind him.
It's getting tight back there.
Who said this is a non-contact sport? Listen to the crowd in the background.
Jimmy Crowder's got a good lead. Actually, that worked out real good for Jimmy. He could do real well here.
Crowder has a huge lead thanks to all the slam-bang action going on behind him. I'm sure he's not even aware of what was going on back there. He's probably looking in his mirror saying, "Hey, fellas, where are you?" All right, here's the way it sets up. That's Jimmy Crowder in first, Scott Taylor in second, Geoff Kincaid is third, Tom Hockers is currently running fourth. Down the front straightaway, they can flat-foot it through that corner.
That's right. That's a real fast corner for these guys. Down to the mogul. Let's even see how these trucks work. I'm always interested to see how they work through these rough sections.
Well, Scott Taylor is getting ready to shoot past on the outside. Can he make it stick? He gets around Jimmy Crowder on the outside.
Great move. That was a great pass.
So Crowder gets relegated to second place, and Kincaid and Hockers are now third and fourth. That's Dave Wolf and passing Michael Burke. Let's go back to the start, Ivan. This is on board with Kincaid. He did get a lousy start.
And he gets rammed here for it also. He just gets a little smack in our camera, Marty.
Ooh, yeah, thanks, guys. Well, there goes those pictures for the rest of the day. Let's take another look, see what happens. Yeah, there's the contact with Kincaid. And Wiggins, Jim Wiggins, right in the front of your screen there, stops dead at the starting line. He was fifth in the points coming in. Oh, he's going to be sick.
Oh, that's a real shame because he is, again, is another top competitor.
Well, there is your leader, Scott Taylor, coming down the front straightaway. Second place is Jimmy Crowder. And then we can tell you Tom Hockers, while we're taking a look at Jim Wiggins, has gotten around Geoff Kincaid. Hockers in third. Kincaid looks like he's smoking.
Oh, yeah. He's got some kind of a, maybe an oil leak. Possibly he can continue on.
Well, Jimmy Crowder is now coming under attack in second position from Hockers and Kincaid. It's Hockers on the left, Crowder on the right. Crowder's going to hold the position through this corner. And, oh, the smoke is really starting to pour out of Kincaid's truck.
He's definitely got a big problem. Interesting to see the two different lines because you noticed that Jimmy Crowder had a different line. It's a little bit slower the way he went.
The action still nose to tail between those three for second, third, and fourth place. Kincaid doing all he can to stay on the tail and get past Tom Hockers. Well, there's part of the capacity crowd here at Langlade County Fairgrounds at the Chevrolet Off Road Championships. We've got to get out of here for a few minutes. There's your leaders. Stay with us. You can't find a seat in the Chevrolet Off Road Championships in Antigo, Wisconsin. We are in Class 7S action. And that is Geoff Kincaid currently running third as he passes Jimmy Crowder. Crowder slowing down, and Crowder pulling off to the side of the road. So Jimmy's race appears to be over.
All the way from Tallahassee, Florida. That's a shame.
Ooh, some damage on our leader, Scott Taylor's Ford. Then here is second place, Tom Hockers. Third is Kincaid. He is still smoking, not as badly as he was just a little while ago.
I think it must be just an oil leak on the head or something, Marty. I think he's right.
Well, there is Joe Dunlop. He was running back in the pack a little bit, and obviously he's got a mechanical malfunction. It's going to park him for the afternoon. Back to the lead pack. Whoa, look at Kincaid, top of your screen. Just for a moment there, you saw him pull off. So Kincaid is now out of this race as well. And Scott Taylor seems to be slowing down. Tom Hockers, nope, just must be that corner. There is Kincaid, helmet off. The points leader coming into this race, now out of this race, and that is, again, costly. Boy, these points are really going to shake up after this contest.
Well, they really are, Marty.
Here is Tom Hockers. No, that's Jimmy Bradley, and what a surprise. Bradley moving his way up through the field. He is now passing Alan Walentowski. That's for third place. Whoa! Our leader, Scott Taylor, gets very wide and runs over one of the horse marker bearers.
I don't know why he'd do something like that. He's got a pretty good lead here. Maybe he doesn't know. It could be his radio's not working or something.
Well, there is Tom Hockers. Hockers is saying, hey, do that a couple more times and I'll have the lead.
That's right.
Well, what's that hanging down? Is that the pipe?
I think it's just I saw that earlier, but I think it's just the muffler hanging down, Marty.
All right, so nothing. Oh, no! Tom Hockers is pulled over by the side of the road. So now second place has dropped out. This is becoming quickly a race of attrition, as now Jim Bradley moves into second place as he works his way down on the far end of the race course. I don't know if he can catch Scott Taylor, but the way things are going, he might inherit the position.
Scott Taylor's got a big lead, Marty. It's going to be really tough for anybody to catch him.
Well, Bradley, as the white flag comes out for our leader, there is Scott Taylor. All he has to do is maneuver one more lap around. This is Robert Chasteen in the 717 passing Jim Moskalik. That is now for third place on the race course. Whoa, what is our leader doing, Ivan?
I know he's making lots of drivers, Marty. I hope he's got some kind of a braking problem, because they shouldn't be doing that at all.
Oh, wow. Scott Taylor loops it with a huge lead. Let's take another look, see if you can pick it out.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing. It looks like he just got a little hot in the corner, a little slick, a lot of front brake. That's the reason he lost that running right there. See the front brake? We had way too much front brake in that truck.
The front wheels locked up for sure as he went around. Here comes our leader, despite the spin. One more turn here down the front straightaway, and Scott Taylor will stare straight into the checkered flag and win the Class 7S Championship here at the Chevrolet Off Road Championships in Antigo, Wisconsin. A hard-fought race of attrition. Look at the damage on this thing as, yeah, the crowd's into this. Stay with us. We'll be back to talk to our winner right after this. Marty, Reid, and Ivan Stewart back with you at the Chevrolet Off Road Championships. The final results in Class 7S. Last year, Scott Taylor couldn't even find the leaderboard. This time, he's on top of it. As we move on down through, Jimmy Crowder finishing in 10th after that early start and leading up front. Jeff Kincaid, also our winner, back at round number 1 at Lake Geneva, but now in 11th. Let's go to Victory Lane.
Scott, we didn't have the best of luck at Lake Geneva, but when we come out here, this thing looked like it's on rails. Tell us about it.
Well, we finally got the Jack Roush engine in it, Ivan, and it seems to be running real good. We had a clutch problem over at Lake Geneva in the mud and the rain and all that, you know how that went. So went home, did a little homework. We got our good motor in it now, and that's where we've been having our failures in the past. So with you know, some cooperation out of Jack and Ford Motor Company and Goodrich, it's making it all possible once again.
Well, take a look at the point standings. The DNF for Scott Taylor in round number 1. Here in the second round, he is now in a tie for third with Michael Burke and Jeff Kincaid. As you look on down through the list, John Greaves not making it to the starting line hurts him badly. He is now tied for 8th with Jim Bradley with 16 points. Time now to get ready for highlight action of Class 910. We can't show you all the activity that goes on, but this is one of the most competitive, fast buggy classes in the sport. It is an unlimited buggy group. Co-riders are optional. Maximum 1,650 cc power plant and 150 horsepower, but these vehicles are so light in weight that they fly. Watch what happens here on the start. The number 902 of Art Schmitt will take the early lead, and as they come through the second turn, watch this, they look like they are on rails. Everybody getting a good side bite through that corner. Then Schmitt leads, followed by the 912 of Jeff St. Peter, as Art tries to open up a little bit of room and does. The third place vehicle at this point is Jeff Probst in the 099. Fourth place, a smoking Todd Attig. Art Schmitt, though, would stay in first place, holding off second place Jeff St. Peter and third place Jeff Probst. It never really looked like he was going to get challenged, except maybe one time during the entire race. These guys fishtailing their way through the corners. This is Tom Schwartzberg in the 903 battling Chris Hainlin. Up into the other turn, watch what happens. Hainlin ends up climbing right up and over and almost creating a problem for both, but they get away with no damage done. The last lap, Art Schmitt still in the lead, but Probst sets up to pass second place, Jeff St. Peter. He looks to the inside. The lap traffic is now Tom Schwartzberg. Art Schmitt in the 902 gets by, but watch what happens. Probst tries to duck down on the inside, but St. Peter closes the door. the number 99, not able to make any of the passes stick as he made all his moves, but Geoff Probst would finish third, Jeff St. Peter would finish second, and Art Schmitt would make a big jump in the points as he came down the front straightaway the final time to win the Class 9-10 championship. They're second and third just that quickly. So let's take a look at the final results at the Chevrolet Off Road Championships in Class 9-10. Behind Schmitt, St. Peter, and Probst, Todd Attig was able to come home a smoking fourth. Trent Hansen was in fifth. Tom Schwartzberg finished sixth. Chris Hainlin, as those two got together, in seventh. Dan Badeau, eighth. Brian Berlor and Randy Eller. Let's go to Victory Lane.
Well, the one time towards the end there, I took a sneak look back there. I don't like to do that, but I seen Geoff back there and then Geoff Probst back there. But on that last lap, you want to make sure you're super clean and super tight so they don't make a move on you. So I was trying to just pace myself.
Well, Jeff St. Peter, with his first and second place finishes, is at the top of the leaderboard in the Pro Series in Class 9-10. He leads Art Schmitt by 6. Tom Schwartzberg is third with 21. Now, the big surprise here, Geoff Probst in 9th place with only 14 points after 2 rounds of racing. He's going to have to get on the gas to get back into the championship race. We're getting ready for the big showdown. That is Jack Flannery's right thumb you saw in the thumbs-up signal, as we are getting ready for the Heavy Metal Championship, and this is the requirements. 2 or 4-wheel drive production pickups. They must conform to their class rules, and they must have competed in their class race today. Here's the starting lineup. Jack Flannery will climb behind the 4-wheel drive, number 435 Chevrolet. Walker Evans will be in the 817 Dodge. And then also in the starting field, Scott Taylor. He'll be in the Ford contingent. We've got everybody, the big 3, represented here. In the GMC, it'll be Kevin Probst, the number 499. Then Jed Flannery, that's Jack's 21-year-old son. He'll be in the 2-wheel drive, number 812. The 400, Jeff Dorr. He will be out there in a Ford. Then Greg Gerlach in the number 402, also out there from Dakota, Minnesota. And Chad Hall from Reno, Nevada will be in the 4-wheel drive, number 411. And here is the rest of the starting field, a huge field. Gerald Foster, Bill Loeb, Ken Kincaid, everyone there. Bob Bemmels, Dave Hockers. This is for bragging rights only. This does not go towards the points championship. This is a showdown between all of these competitors. And Ivan, what a field. And we've got 4 in-car cameras. This is a new look for us, folks. This is a suspension camera mounted up underneath in Scott Taylor's Class 8 truck. Out the rear of Scott Taylor's Class 8 truck as well. Then there is Walker Evans inside of his Dodge, and then there is Jack Flannery out the front of his Chevrolet. On board with Flannery as the green flag drops, Ivan, and as they head for the first turn, Flannery got a good jump.
He got a great jump on Bill Loeb there. He got the outside of him.
Now can they make it stick? He's on the outside here. Whoop, Loaf, and they make contact. He goes around one barrel. Will he be able to save it? Ooh, there goes one of the course markers, and Flannery's about 5th. Now Loaf has the lead as they come down into this corner. There's some contact. There's Probst. Oh, Probst gets into Loaf, and Loaf goes up and over. And he's on the gas, and Loaf slams into the quarter panel of Jack Flannery, and now they're hooked up. These two are hooked, and Loaf trying to get untangled, and this is going to be costly to both racers.
That's a shame to get tied up like that. They are hung up tight now. They aren't going to get loose in anybody.
It looks like Kevin Probst comes out the big winner in this with Walker Evans in second. Now, as you see the rest of this huge field, let's take a look at it, see if we can pick out what happens. It looks like Kevin gets into Bill Loaf there.
Well, he got upside down, and then he didn't even get out of the throttle. He just kind of stood on it, run right into the side of Jack Flannery.
Did you notice the wheel spin? He had his foot in the gas while he's going up and over. Now, here is what happens from Flannery's perspective. Boom.
Boom. Just hit you right.
And from this point, he's just along for the ride trying to get unhooked.
That's where they need that pail of water again, Marty.
Now, let's take another look at it. Up and over. Looks more like it wasn't so much Probst, he just caught a rut. But look at this, he's got the gas and he's going straight ahead.
Yeah, actually, that's really wasn't a good thing to do because he had nowhere to go. He was just driving beside of whoever was there.
All right, here we are on board with Walker. See if he almost got collected in this mess as well. He's coming around, and look at that. Oh, there is Flannery getting tagged right in front of him.
It worked out perfect for Walker, rather. He just got right by it. That was great.
Well, there is Jack Flannery. He is out of this race, not a happy camper. And here comes Bill Loaf over to talk to him. There is Kevin Probst. Now, let's get back to the racing action, bring you up to date on what's happened. Second place there is Walker Evans. Oh, no, and Walker gets it around on the rear end.
Exact same spot he lost it before, Marty. He got a little bit too much front brake or something. He goes a little bit too hard there.
That was Dave Hockers in third, back on board with Walker Evans. Hard right-hander here. He's got a long way to go now to catch Probst.
Yeah, Kevin's got the four-wheel drive, and as long as the track is wet like this, Kevin's going to have an advantage. But when it dries out, I think that you might see Walker making a charge.
Well, notice that it's gotten a little cloudy here. The clouds starting to roll. Remember, when they told us there was about a 40% chance of rain. There is Scott Taylor. He is in 8th place after getting all tangled up in the beginning of the race, getting tied up in that big melee.
You can see the fender damage there. There's that great shot of the suspension.
All right, take us through this. Now, this is something that we've never been able to, you can tell when he just went over the jump there, the way this works.
There's probably in the neighborhood of 20, 24 inches of wheel travel there, and you can see working the steering wheel. That's just a beautiful shot of the suspension and how much how much abuse this stuff takes.
Well, take a look at that. We'll show you that more often throughout this race. In fact, as long as Scott Taylor continues to run, that's a great shot. Stay with us. We'll be back with the finish of the Heavy Metal Championship at the Chevrolet Off Road Championships. Oh, hold on to your seat. Marty, Reid, and Ivan Stewart back with you at the Chevrolet Off Road Championships. There is your leader, the 499 of Kevin Probst. Second place, Walker Evans, and Walker's got the hammer down. He's closing, Ivan.
He said he was serious, and he is. He's on the throttle today, buddy.
Clouds rolling in. It looks as though we may be lucky enough to get this race in without any rain. Inside with Walker Evans. Now he is working the interior portion of this track, and he now can see, and we can see through the in-car camera, Kevin Probst dead ahead, and it looks like he's passing him.
It looks like he just got by him. Kevin may be having a problem. He's by him, Marty.
Probst has to have a problem. In fact, he has stopped on the course. Yes, look at this. Look at the margin Walker Evans has opened up as Kevin Probst is now on the sidelines through that last corner, and Walker now in control of his own destiny. Dave Hockers, third place. Right behind him is fourth, and that is Scott Taylor. This is out the rear of Scott Taylor's Class H Ford. As you get a great view, we're down low, right above ground level.
Again, that's 800 horsepower plus, throwing the dirt back in that rooster tail. You see it. That's a great shot, Marty.
He just passes Hockers there, so now that moves him up into third position. Boy, he's leaving Hockers in the dust.
He got a lousy start. There's a great suspension angle again. That's a front suspension going over the jump. You can see when it smooths out, he's in the air.
Rhythm 6, look at it. Ooh, up, down, up, down. Oh, look at the punishment. Great turning radius there. Now, here's the battle for fourth. That's Hockers, Bemmels, and Pete Vanderhay and Chad Hall. So this thing is really shaping up here for a battle further back in position as Walker Evans continues to lead. That is Dorr, Geoff Dorr in second place, closing down on Walker Evans. Now, this is your classic two-wheel drive versus four-wheel drive showdown.
Geoff Dorr does a great job. His truck works good. He's got a lot of horsepower. It gets it to the ground. And again, four-wheel drive, Marty. It pays off in this type of terrain.
Hockers, Bemmels, Vanderhay. That's the way they... Oh, and it looks like Vanderhay gets into Bemmels.
Gives him a little nudge there, so get going.
Here down the front straightaway one more time. Walker Evans trying to hold on to the lead as Geoff Dorr is trying to put the pressure on.
Marty, one of the things Walker Evans has got, the truck that just handles beautifully. You never see the truck kick in the back. He very seldom makes mistakes with it, and it's just a fantastic good drive. Speaking
of mistake, did you see Dorr? He took out one of the barrels on the right side, trying to shave off as much of the rough stuff as possible. It doesn't seem to have slowed him down, though. Oh, no! Geoff Dorr takes it all the way over.
Oh, no, that's too bad. He was doing so well there.
Geoff Dorr climbing out of his Ford after putting on as much pressure as he could. Take a look at it again, Ivan.
Again, it looks like he just caught the berm. We keep talking about these soft soil and these sharp corners, and that's looked to me like he just caught a berm. A little too much speed, gets it up on two wheels. Not enough time to save it. Well, he tried. He's trying to turn into it, but too late.
That's the end of the day for then second place Geoff Dorr. Now that means Scott Taylor will move up into second place, so it's the two Class 8 trucks that are ending up at the top of the field, and there's the difference between first and second. Walker Evans has this race covered. All he has to do is manipulate the track one more time around.
I think, again, because the track is dried out, that's where we're seeing the Class 8s opposed to the four-wheel drive doing so well.
Boy, that is a great shot. The first time we've ever been able to mount a camera up in there. Before, they would have been destroyed, but the technology is getting better and better and allowing us to bring you more of the action that really counts in off-road racing. That's Bob Bemmels. He is currently running in third. Jamie is passing Dave Hockers. That's Jamie Flannery for fourth position. So Flannery now in the 815. That's the Class 8 truck, the two-wheel drive, getting around Hockers. Jeff Dorr gets the truck back over, so he's back into the cockpit as we see Walker Evans coming around. So he got back in and is bringing it on home. Now this is Walker Evans, just a couple of more turns to negotiate, and he will win this race. Now, whoa, another fender coming off of Jeff Dorr's vehicle. You notice Walker avoids that, does not want to take a chance of cutting a tire at this stage of the race. And there is Jamie Flannery pulling the Chevrolet, the number 815. Back behind the wall, so he will not finish the Heavy Metal Championship. Here comes Walker Evans down from the front straightaway for the final time, and he wins, taking the checkered flag here at the Chevrolet Off Road Championships. Walker Evans, your winner in heavy metal competition. There, the standing room crowd, as we will be back to talk to our winner at Attig, Wisconsin after this. Chevrolet Off-Road Championships, the final results in the heavy metal showdown. Walker Evans said he was going to come out loaded for bear. He did. He beat Scott Taylor and the rest of the field as we look down through the final results as Ivan Stewart makes his way towards victory lane. I guarantee you it'll be a very happy Walker Evans in victory circle. Ivan is there, and so is Walker. Let's go to victory lane.
Walker, we talked earlier in the day. You said you didn't come all the way out from California to get a second here. Yeah, a little bit of trouble in that first Class 8 race. You put it together, and by God, you were on a mission this race. I'll tell you, nobody was going to beat Walker Evans here.
You're right, I did have a little bit of problem, but I'll tell you what, I came out hell-bent for election, and everything on this big Dodge just stayed together, and that's what you see when it comes all together. It really works.
There was a point in the race earlier when Jeff Dorr was closing a little bit. He was getting close. Were you aware of him?
I certainly was. Even my crew called me and said, look over your left shoulder, as I was going around a corner, and there he was, all red. So I had to stand on it. I really did. I had my job cut out for me, and a couple of them, even Scotty Taylor, I had to watch him, too.
Well, a great day of racing at Attig, Wisconsin. A reminder, we've got more racing action coming your way on the SOTA World Series of Off-Road Racing. It'll be August 3rd, 12:30 a.m. Eastern Time. That is August 2nd at 9:30 p.m. Pacific for the True Value Spring Run. Ivan, final comments?
Well, I'm kind of amazed the way the points championship battle's going here, Marty. Even though Walker Evans, for one, is doing well, winning these heavy metal challenges, they're just for bragging rights. He's going to have to get on the throttle if he's going to get in his points race. We're a third of the way through. If he wants the championship, he better get with it.
That's going to do it for us from Attig, Wisconsin at the Chevrolet Off-Road Championships. For Ivan Stewart, I'm Marty Reid. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time that we go off-road racing on ESPN's Speed World. So long for now. Four-cylinder engines, 2.5 liters, the maximum you can go there, and they'll generate about 200 horsepower. Let's take a look now at the Chevrolet starting field. Scott Taylor from Belvedere, Illinois. Alongside will be John Greaves. This is a must-win situation for the 26-year-old from De Pere, Wisconsin. Michael Burke from Heartland will be in the number 706. Jim Wiggins, Dixon, Illinois is home. He's 25. He'll be in the number 786. Tom Hockers from Greenleaf, Wisconsin, in the number 705 Ford. And then Dave Wolf from Menasha, Wisconsin. At age 31, we'll watch him drive in the number 766. The rest of the starting field, Alan Walentowski, Bill Waterstrat, Robert Chastain, Jim Bradley, on down through the list. Now, with only 200 horsepower, these trucks obviously not as fast as the big monsters in Class 8 and Class 4, Ivan, but some of our best racing action here is the green flag drops.
Oh, it really is, Marty. This is when you don't have much horsepower to deal with. You've got to get those lines. You've got to be efficient, and that's exactly what these guys are doing here, trying to get the hardest part of the track they can get to.
Defending champion in this series, Spencer Lowe, is not racing this year, so the championship is up for grabs. And who's going to take control? Well, we'll find out soon as we come down through the first turn. And it looks like John Greaves, in that must-win situation, has jumped out to the early lead.
John has gotten really serious. He's, like you say, he's got to win this race. He's got to get back in the championship battle. And he got a great start, Marty.
Jim Wiggins in second, Scott Taylor third. Fourth is Billy Beck. Jeff Kincaid is fifth. Down through the gravel pit. Whoa, and Taylor trying to duck inside underneath Jim Wiggins as Wiggins goes high.
He's got a different line there. Scott Taylor's always used a different line. I always like his approach to a track because he's always willing to experiment. He'll get down low, he gets up high. Here he's trying to get underneath Wiggins.
I'll tell you, the biggest thing that's made a difference for Scott Taylor has been the addition of a Roush racing engine.
That has helped you, no doubt about it. Nothing like horsepower, Marty, and he's making horsepower.
Well, he was nowhere to be found in the top 5 at our first race of the year, and here he is winning at round 2 after putting that Roush racing engine in that 7S Ford. And so far, looking very strong here as he is battling for second place. John Greaves in the Toyota out front.
Interesting, 2 different lines here now. John's way up against the trees on the left-hand side of the track, and some of the guys will go way off to the right.
There is Wiggins. He likes the right side line. Taylor over on the right side of the screen will come in third. So this time Wiggins gets some ground and picks up some room, as there is a battle now for third place between Kincaid and Taylor get together.
That was awfully close, Marty. They're going to make it through here. He got by. That was a good pass. That was close, though.
So Kincaid takes over third position, moving Taylor back to fourth.
Again, these guys are all the time, they haven't got the horsepower that the guys in the Class 4s and the 8s got. So looking for that hard ground. They're trying to keep the tires right on the hardest part of the track. And that's a real secret here.
Here's the battle tightening for second place. That is Wiggins holding off Kincaid and Scott Taylor. Now, Wiggins has 18 class victories in his racing career. He's won the 1600 Soda Championship in 1991 and again in 92. And whoa, he gets a little wide there, opens the door, but nobody can close it.
Can't quite get it. Scott Taylor's really getting aggressive here. He just can't quite get by.
Let's go back to this replay where these two come together.
Oh, that is close. He come down. They're lucky. They're lucky somebody didn't get upside down on that one, Marty.
So the action now continues. Let's pick up the battle for fifth. That is Jimmy Crowder doing double duty. You saw him running Class 8 as well. And right behind him is Dave Wolf. So those two going after each other for fifth place on the race course. Back up front, this is John Greaves coming around points leader Robert Chastain. Chastain in trouble.
And this is, again, John Greaves has got to do well here. If he's going to get in this points race, he's got to have a good race.
So Greaves passes and puts the points leader a lap down. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll conclude the Class 7S battle at the True Value Spring Run. Marty, Reid, and Ivan Stewart back with you at the True Value Spring Run, and that is our leader in Class 7S, John Greaves, heading for the pits.
Oh, Marty, that's a shame. He just can't have any luck at all this year.
You pit, you lose. This is a sprint race, folks. You go wire to wire, and him pulling into the pit lane now hands the lead to Scott Taylor. And that's the reason why. I wonder what happened to Jeff Kincaid. Kincaid is out of the race. He's pulled off the side of the course.
In one lap, Scott Taylor went from third to first.
So Scott Taylor with that brand new Roush motor, and boy, what a difference that power plant has made, has moved to the head of the class. And here's another contender. Billy Beck was running well. He is now out of the race, and there's steam from underneath that engine compartment. This is Jim Wiggins getting around lap traffic, Michael Burke. Now Wiggins is in second place as a result of all the breakage. Battle for third is Jimmy Crowder and Dave Wolf. Crowder still in front of Wolf.
Jimmy Crowder comes all the way from Tallahassee, Florida. Comes out here, runs all the races in this series. It's a great competitor.
And he does not have major sponsorship. He does it on his own nickel. Now this is John Greaves. He's back out on course, but he's way back in sixth place. And boy, this spells disaster for his points championship hopes.
It does. If he had the hood off, he's obviously has got a motor problem.
The battle right now for third place continues. Jimmy Crowder and Dave Wolf basically nose to tail. They head down the backstretch one more time.
What a beautiful track this is. Look at the elevation changes. This is just a fantastic race course.
Here is Robert Chastain having a horrible day. He is the current points leader. He's in ninth.
He's in ninth place. Plymouth, Wisconsin. Robert is front.
Up through turn two, and that motor sounds off song a little bit, but boy, here's one that does not sound off song. Scott Taylor flying through turn one.
And Marty, that's how you tell the horsepower. When they're screaming like this, and RPM is up there around 8,000 or 9,000 RPM, they're making horsepower.
Well, the other thing I noticed is look at how little side-to-side tail action he's getting. He's getting a lot of good side bites.
Well, you got a truck set up well. He's got the right tire combination, obviously. He's come around. And Scott is a great driver.
The number 722 of Jim Bradley pulling off the side of the race course. Another victim of attrition. We've had a lot today.
We really have. I'm not sure why, Marty. I don't know if it's the overheating problems or something we're having here.
The battle for third is still continuing. Here is the final lap now. This is Alan Walentowski. Lap traffic in front of our race leader. Look out as Scott Taylor touches him, but no major contact.
He needs a little patience if he doesn't get too aggressive. Or Scott's done that in the past, and I watched him get a little too aggressive and make those kind of mistakes.
Jim Wiggins, second place. He too will be on his final lap, but a long way to go to catch race leader. In fact, he's going to need Scott Taylor to break to have a chance of winning this race.
I don't believe you'd ever catch him now, Marty. There's Scott Taylor coming through the left-hand side of the course.
And John Greaves off to the right of your screen, about to be put another lap down. So what a dismal day for Greaves. What a great day for Scott Taylor.
And Scott Taylor just trying to get to the checkered flag now. His truck is working great. Just get down to the checkered flag.
Well, he still comes through a little wider that time than he normally does through turn number 1, but in total control. That Roush motor, that's not cheap, but boy, it sure has paid off.
It really has. And not only does it have to make horsepower, Marty, these motors have got to be dependable. They've got to run a long time under tough conditions.
Well, he is closing on John Greaves. Remember, Greaves struggling, trying to pick up whatever points he can, and he gets lapped again by race leader Scott Taylor, and that's got to be just a frustrating feeling for John Greaves, knowing that his championship hopes are dwindling with each second.
All year long he struggled. That's a shame, because he has a ton of talent, and I really suspected him to win a championship this year, actually.
He finished second last year. The checkered flag will fall for the second straight time in this man's favor. That is Scott Taylor. Belvedere, Illinois is cheering as their man finishes first here at the True Value Spring Run in Crandon, Wisconsin. When we come back, we'll talk to our winner. Stay with us. Marty, Reid, and Ivan Stewart back with you at the True Value Spring Run. Final results now in Class 7S. Scott Taylor wins for the second time in a row. That's going to help him a great deal in the points. John Greaves needed a win. He did not get it. Robert Chastain finishing in 9th is going to be hurt in the points championship as well. And Geoff Kincaid's championship hopes are damaged with an 11th place finish. Scott Taylor 2 in a row, and that gives you the lead in the points championship.
How about that, Marty? It looks like Roush's plans and figured out what he did on the motors working out.
Tell me the difference. I mean, you mentioned it in our last race at Anago, but the performance, what a step up.
Yeah, Roush Industries are pretty sharp. They've done some pretty neat stuff to the stock parts that we've got to run, and we got an edge on them right now. Everything's working good. That was our problem for the last couple of years for these motors. And now they've done some work on the head and the camshaft development, and boy, it's really working.
It certainly is. Second win in a row, and Scott Taylor vaults into the points lead by 6 over Alan Walentowski. Jim Wiggins moves up to 4th with that second place finish with 27. Now, as you look at the rest of the point standings, it turned out to be a very big day for Jim Wiggins. Not only does he finish second in the race, but he also had some plans for his fiancée-to-be. We were sort of invited to eavesdrop with Jim and Lisa Vandermissen. Listen to this.
Lisa, I love you. And will you marry me?
National television. Lisa?
Yeah.
All right. So we played a small part in not only bringing you racing action for the day, but Lisa's quivering hand as they ride off after finishing second in the race, but first in the hearts of each other. Congratulations to both of you and best wishes. Let's go to Class 910 buggy action. You can see the requirements on the screen, 150 horsepower, and boy, do these 5 guys fly. Watch the start of the race. Art Schmitt takes the lead, but in turn 1, Todd Attig in the 922 and Geoff Probst get together, and Attig ends up flipping. He is okay and gets underway one more time, but his chances of winning no longer a factor. Art Schmitt's lead did get bigger. The battle for second heated up between Lee Wiestoff and Jeff St. Peter. And then leader Art Schmitt went very high in turn 1, taking out a few of the banners and proving that no lead is big enough as he was pressing the pedal as hard as he could. Now remember, he also won Class 910 back at Anago. Then what happens after an early race spin by Jeff St. Peter and Lee Wiestoff pitting, there is the number 099 of Geoff Probst taking over second place. The battle for third was between the 903 of Tom Schwartzberg and the 1036 of Brian Bernlohr. Now, Jeff St. Peter, who won at Lake Geneva and finished second at Anago, would finally get back on track to finish 6th after that early spin. And after losing third place to Brian Bernlohr, Tom Schwartzberg will eventually get passed by the 908 of Don Ponder and finish 5th. No one could catch Art Schmitt, though. For the second race in a row, he would take the checkered flag, and he would also take command of the Class 910 points lead as he wins at Crandon. Art Schmitt, Geoff Probst, Brian Bernlohr, Don Ponder, and Tom Schwartzberg, the top 5 at the True Value Spring Run Class 910. Jeff St. Peter will drop back in the points with that 6th place finish. And as we look on down through the list, Todd Wallace, Ray Short, Richie Alton, Chad Ramish round out the top 14. Taking a look at the points, Art Schmitt has a 4-point lead now after 3 rounds of racing. Tom Schwartzberg in 3rd, and Brian Bernlohr and Jeff Probst tied for 4th in Class 9-10 action. Dawn down through the top 10, Randy Eller, Trent Hansen, Lee Wiesoff, Dan Badu, and Don Ponder in 10th spot with 19 points. Still 3 rounds of racing left in the Pro Series point standings. Let's get ready now for heavy metal. This is where everything comes on the line. This is for bragging rights. Nothing affects the points. 2- and 4-wheel drive production must conform to all class rules, and you must have competed in your class race. The Chevrolet starting field has Walker Evans from Riverside, California. Remember, he finished 2nd in Class 8. Jack Flannery, he's looking for the triple. He won both Class 8 and Class 4. Can he make it 3 for 3? Dave Hockers in the 802 from De Pere, Wisconsin. Scott Taylor has made repairs on his number 800 Ford. The right front suspension is ready to go. Greg Gerlach also ready for the action in the number 402. Jeff Dorr will be in the number 400 Ford, and he is also in this starting lineup. Several others in the starting field, and now this is for bragging rights, Ivan. And do you change your tactics, this being the last race?
Well, absolutely, Marty. They've got a lot of time to fix the truck. Go flat out, try and get a win for your sponsors.
All right, we've got several in-car cameras. This is the suspension camera mounted on the number 800 of Scott Taylor. Yes, that is the right front suspension that was repaired. Jack Flannery will be looking out the front, and then we'll also have a camera with Walker Evans, as we'll get a great view outside of his Dodge.
We should see a Class 4 truck, a 4-wheel drive, come out in the lead here. 4-wheel drive, long straightaway, we'll see it happen.
The green flag is dropped, and Flannery right in the middle of the screen. Jeff Dorr also on the left side of the screen. It looks like it's going to be Dorr winning the battle to turn number 1. It is. It's Jeff Dorr, followed by Jack Flannery, then Greg Gerlach, Walker Evans, and then Jamie Flannery. He's in the Class 8 truck. It's the sister truck to Jack's Class 4.
3 4-wheel drives, right out in the lead, then Walker Evans.
3 abreast, and that is Scott Taylor, who got a horrendous start.
If you notice, Scott Taylor's a little careful in that corner. That's where he blew that tire out earlier in the day.
Oh, and there's contact, and Taylor comes together with a vehicle, and I couldn't see who it actually was. It looked like Brian Frankenberg or Tom Farrell. Not quite sure, but he is okay. Both trucks still underway. Jeff Dorr in front of Jack Flannery.
And when you see the water on the track, Marty, that's going to lend more toward the 4-wheel drive. Jeff Dorr gets a little squirrely here.
Down through what will be the finish line area, and these two going after each other. And yes, they did do some watering between races, so now in certain places it's a little wetter than others.
And that's frustrating for the guys in the 2-wheel drive. Obviously, they don't have those 4 wheels just pulling for them, just the 2.
So now Jeff Dorr holds off Jack Flannery. Yes, he does.
And listen to that engine scream. We got a Ford leading with a Chevrolet right behind it.
Trying the pass as he goes to the outside. It looked like Dorr just slowed all of a sudden. That was a little early to be in the brakes.
Yeah, it really was. Well, Dorr's had a problem.
Dorr's gone. He's nowhere to be found. So something happens to Jeff Dorr. Jack Flannery now is your new leader. Boy, where is Dorr?
I just saw him pull off. He just went to the pits, Marty.
So here is Greg Gerlach and then Walker Evans. So now Gerlach is in 2nd place and Walker Evans in 3rd. So a big shakeup here as Jeff Dorr goes by the boards.
Now what we should see as the track continues to dry out and gets a little drier and a little better, Walker Evans should be closing in on Greg Gerlach.
This is the battle for 2nd on the racetrack. Greg Gerlach versus Walker Evans. This is 4-wheel drive in front of 2-wheel drive.
Walker Evans with a tremendous amount of experience, a fantastic truck, lots and lots of horsepower, and Greg Gerlach looks like he's smoking, Marty.
And this is 2 Dodges going after each other.
It is.
Gerlach definitely having some smoke, but Walker Evans looking to the inside. Can he make the pass stick? Gerlach opens the door. No, he slams it.
And this is the frustrating part. Watch how that 4-wheel drive accelerates.
Tom Farrell getting nose heavy. A lot of suspension problem there. And Chad Hall passes him as that is a battle for position on the race course. Oh, and Bill Loaf is out of the race. Looks like he broke the suspension.
He's got a left side down in that truck. That's right, Woody.
Jack Flannery coming down the front straightaway. He's the leader of the race.
Walker Evans is now in 2nd, looks like.
Oh, and Flannery's got a flat left rear. Take a look. Flannery's got a flat left rear, and that is going to allow this man, Walker Evans, to close up. Flannery running on a flat left.
It looks like he hit one of those rocks we were talking about. There's a bunch of them out here. It's hard to sell it on television, but there's a lot of rocks.
So Walker has gotten into second place around Greg Gerlach. There is Gerlach off into the distance. Scott Taylor, meanwhile, he's had his problems. He is in 11th place right now. He, too, has cut a tire, and he had to change it. So that's why he is back in 11th. Take a look at the way this suspension works.
Oh, that's a beautiful shot. You can see when it gets real smooth and hangs down, that's when the truck's in the air.
Take a look. We'll just let you sort of listen and watch. There's the leaders here at the True Value Spring Run. We'll be back with the conclusion of the Heavy Metal Showdown right after this. Marty, Reid, and Ivan Stewart back with you at the True Value Spring Run. And wait a minute, that's not Jack Flannery's normal race line. He likes it, and he is heading for the pit lane. He normally goes way left, so we knew something was wrong. He's going in for that tire.
He's going to come in and try and get that tire fixed as quick as he can, Marty. It's going to cost him a lot of time. In this kind of racing, you just can't do this.
Well, we're going to put a clock on it to give you an idea. We'll keep that running. You take a look now at the new leader. That is Walker Evans. He has gotten around while this pit stop goes on.
This is just a shame because, you know, it's stadium or short course racing like this, you just don't have time to do these kind of repairs.
The clock's still running in the upper right-hand corner. That is the pit stop time. You can see the crew, and take us through what they're actually doing.
Well, they're pulling the tire off. The tire's hotter than heck. He's gone 2 miles on that tire. It's gotten extremely hot. The guys are trying to do it as quick as possible. It's just going to take a little while.
That is Greg Gerlach in second. That's Jamie Flannery in the Class 8 truck in fourth, and he, too, has a flat. Now the clock finally stops for Jack Flannery. He has to pause again to wait for traffic to come through so he can rejoin the race.
Oh, that is so frustrating, Marty, to be in that position.
Now Jimmy Crowder, the third truck in the screen, he is in third. That's 2 lap vehicles in front of him. So Crowder doing well here in the Heavy Metal Showdown, running in third. Having a little trouble getting around the lap traffic. And this man's at a dismal Heavy Metal Championship. That is Scott Taylor, well back in the field. But take a look one more time at the suspension game. We're getting ready to go over a very big jump here.
That's a beautiful shot. When the suspension hangs down, there it goes back up. When it hangs down right in the air, that was in the air.
And a sudden surge as the 3,700 pounds roughly comes back down on the ground. Here is your race leader, Walker Evans. Finished second in the Class 8 race. It looks like he's on his way to a championship win here in Heavy Metal. On board again. That's lap traffic in front of him.
Marty, this is going to be a worthwhile trip for him. This long trip back from Utah is going to pay off, Marty.
Yeah,
like he might win this race.
Remember, he only had 2 hours of sleep coming into this. Greg Gerlach, he is in second place. This is the best run he's had all season long.
He's had a tough year, but Greg's doing good. I like to see him do well here. He's a good competitor.
And Jamie Flannery, who is running in 5th right now. He's a lap down with that flat right rear. He's running on the inner liner.
He's on the liner, there's no doubt.
That's Tom Farrell going up on the bicycle in front of Jack Flannery.
Tom gets up a little bit on 2 wheels there and saved it very well.
Also has had some contact along the way as one fender is completely gone and the other one may cut another tire for Flannery if it comes off right now.
He's going to lose it right in front of us.
The white flag is out for Walker Evans. One more time around, and it will be a very worthwhile trip for the Riverside, California native, as he has got lap traffic in front of him there, and he moves around very cautiously. I remember when one year he came out here, forced the issue with some lap traffic, and ended up losing the race.
I remember that race, Marty. He'll be careful, I'll guarantee you this one.
Back on board with Jack Flannery, that is Chad Hall on the left. He is lap traffic, but right in front of him, that is for position for 3rd place on the race course, and that's Jimmy Crowder. Now here is Scott Taylor one more time. Let's get another look at the suspension cam.
Watch an interesting talk about shock valve and how slow that wheel drops down. That's what they talk about, wheel control with the shocks. You drop it real slow, and that's what you want.
Doesn't look as painful as it does from the outside, which sort of surprises you.
You're right. You'd think it'd be more violent. But that's all controlled by shock valving.
Back on board with Jack Flannery, and he is right on Jimmy Crowder. In fact, making a pass for the move for 3rd. No, he can't make it stick. Crowder holding on. Remember, we're on the final lap. There is your race leader through turn 2 for the final time. Walker Evans, and Walker's got a flat right rear going down. This could get very interesting.
Luckily, he's only got another half a lap or so to go, Marty, but he is down well on that one.
Well, but if he shreds it right there, he could roll the truck.
He really could. I'm sure he knows. He senses a problem, I'm sure.
He's got one more jump to maneuver. This one right here, hold on to your stomach. He survives, right turn, and it's a 180 degree to the checkered flag, and it is going to be Walker Evans, winner in heavy metal competition at the True Value Spring Run. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll talk to the sleepy but happy champion. Well, Marty, Reid, and Ivan Stewart back with you at the True Value Spring Run, where the final results are posted in heavy metal competition. A great win for Walker Evans. A surprising race, Ivan, the way things went today with the number of flats.
Again, I think it's when we showed the big rock, that's what these guys are hitting. You just can't hit those big rocks, and they're out there. You're going so fast, you just don't see them.
Yeah, it's not defective equipment, folks. These rocks are huge out here.
Down here in Victory Lane, obviously with Walker Evans, the long distance, long travel, no sleep had absolutely no effect.
Well, it didn't really. I'll tell you what, a little bit of cat naps here and there puts you right back on top. When you hear these big Dodge motor fire up, I'll tell you, it opens your eyes and you're ready to race.
Pretty good weekend, worth the trip. Second in Class 8, winner in heavy metal.
Well, I'm happy. I'll tell you, I love Crandon. I love the fans here. That Dodge knows its way around here. I will always come back to this place.
We'll see you at Luxembourg.
You bet. I'll be right there.
Size field, and the points battle here really interesting as well. 6 points separates first and second place. Alan Walentowski behind Scott Taylor, and then on down through the team of Corning and Chastain with 33, Jim Wiggins in fourth with 27, and look at how close it is all the way down through the 10th position. Things still up for grabs with 3 races, including this one here today. On board with Scott Taylor, and there is the view. Look out, getting real close, Ivan.
That is really close, Marty. 2-wheel drive, production mini truck, mid-size pickups, 4 cylinders, maximum 2.5 liters, 200 horsepower. A lot of fun to watch these trucks run.
And here is the Chevrolet starting field. Scott Taylor, yes, he did run in Class 8, and he is running again in 7S. Alan Walentowski from Pickerel, Wisconsin at age 25. Very quiet behind the scenes, but doing very well on the race course. Robert Chastain from Plymouth, Wisconsin. He'll be in the number 717. Jim Wiggins from Dixon, Illinois. He'll be in the number 786. On down through the field, Bill Waterstrat from Green Bay, Wisconsin. This is his hometown. At age 30, he wants to do well in front of the home folks. Tom Hockers from nearby Greenleaf at age 29 in the number 705. And there is the rest of this very big Class 7S starting field. Now, again, these are rear-wheel drive trucks, 2-wheel drive, Ivan. And what should we be looking for?
Well, this is going to be, again, a real tight left-hand corner coming up. They're off. Get through this first corner is going to be the trick, Marty.
4 abreast. Oh, Johnny Greaves gets into Dave Van den Elzen, and then another truck goes up and over the 705 of Tom Hockers. And look at Dave Van den Elzen gets the raw end of that deal. He's all the way off course at the back of the pack. Greaves ends up being the beneficiary as he is in front of Jim Wiggins.
I like his style, Marty. John just drove in there and made it happen. That was a good move.
Take another look at this. Now, you may like it. I bet you the driver in the number 731, Dave Van den Elzen, didn't like it very much. He almost goes over.
Marty, that's off-road racing, and I think that wouldn't be a penalty. I believe that's just good aggressive racing.
Well, the two of them get hooked there. Oh, and then Bill Waterstrat gets into the 731 of Dave Van den Elzen, and that's what spins him all the way around to dead last. Now, here it is. Top place goes to John Greaves. Second place to Jim Wiggins. There's third, Jimmy Crowder. And then Jim Bradley in the 722 being pressured by Scott Taylor.
And Scott gives him a little nudge going into that corner. He says, get out of the way, buddy. Here we come.
Oh, and he makes the pass as you're on board with Scott Taylor. What a view.
That is a great shot.
And there is race leader John Greaves, and he's banging on the steering wheel and heading for the pits, Ivan.
Oh, that's too bad. He's just had a tough year this year, Marty.
I don't know what was wrong, but it means now that Jim Wiggins is now your leader, and then Jimmy Crowder there in second place, and Scott Taylor closing on Crowder is in third.
Scott Taylor with that aggressive style. We'll see what he can do with it on this tight course.
Wiggins opening up the lead. Oh, Taylor gets up on the bicycle. Crowder running 2 trucks as well. A lot more of the drivers are doing that now, Ivan, running either a Class 8 and a 7S combination or a Class 4 and a 7S.
They do, and you know, that gives them a little bit of advantage, Marty. When they come into this course, they know where the bad spots are, how loose the corners are, so that's the fun advantage, to be honest.
Now we're heading back. That is the battle for 5th for Al Walentowski and Dave Wolf. Walentowski in the 712. Geoff Kincaid also getting into this mix. Kincaid in the 707, so this battle really heating up. Back on board again with Scott Taylor. Oh, what a view. He's just gotten around Jimmy Crowder. That is Crowder, so now it is Scott Taylor in 2nd place.
Listen to that Jack Roush motor scream. I don't know what RPM he runs at, but it's got to be up there close to 8, Marty.
Well, he has done so well since putting that motor in this 7S. He won at Anago, and he also won at the Spring Run. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll have more of the Chevrolet Off-Road Challenge. There's the leaderboard. Leader Jim Wiggins in the 786. Scott Taylor closing quickly. It's 2 Fords going after each other. Whoa! That's going to slow it down.
You can't be doing that. That cost him time. Then let's just let Jim get that much farther away.
Now remember, he came in. Oh, and I see a pump of smoke.
I know. I see a little look like radiator water coming out of there, Marty.
Now a battle for 4th. Jim Bradley and Tom Hockers. Hockers in the 705. These guys nose to tail. Bradley has a co-rider on board. Does that help or hurt a driver?
No, I think it hurts, to be honest, Marty. You don't need that extra weight, to be honest.
Back up front, Scott Taylor has reeled in race leader Jim Wiggins.
So let's keep an eye on that engine because he got a bad start. He's been back in the dust.
Oh, and he gets into Wiggins and spins him around, but Wiggins manages to hold off.
See, all this time, Scott is getting mud in that radiator, and I think he's going to have a heating problem. You can see steam coming out right there.
It is. It's coming out of the overflow vent at the end. Bill Waterstrat there in 5th, and he has got a door hanging open, and that is going to get him, yes, that will get him a black flag, and you saw it wave there. So he's going to have to work his way around and slow down to the pit lane and get that fixed. Oh! Whoa. And Taylor gets in and spins out Jim Wiggins.
I don't think he can get away with that.
Oh, well, I don't know if you can get away with that either, because now his radiator is going to be cooking.
I think that was probably, that's going to be looked at as an incident that he's going to get penalized for, I believe.
Oh, and a rollover. That is Michael Burke right in front of race leader Scott Taylor as he goes over, quickly climbing out of the truck, and he is okay. Let's take a look at it again.
Well, Marty, I can't tell if he got into him or not, but the end result is exactly the same, I'll tell you.
Well, there's a lip there that he either went over or he got an assist from Scott Taylor. As you said, end result still the same. He is out of this race. Now here is Scott Taylor, and back on board as he is moving around lap traffic.
I hope he can make this race. I keep seeing that steam coming out of the radiator in his truck. He's got a lot of mud in that radiator, and I think he's got a hot motor, Marty.
Well, there is Scott Taylor, and that is Dave Wolf. Lap traffic, he has gotten around Wolf and moving down. And here is Jim Wiggins. Thank goodness, 1 lap to go. His radiator has got to be getting warm.
That'll do it.
Taylor, boy, and the steam is getting worse.
I'm sure he's aware of that. He's watching the gauge, and I'm sure he's cooling a little bit now. 1 lap to go. He's saying, let's get on back to the finish line.
I'll tell you, I would not want to be the one to have to replace that Jack Roush motor. This motor has been the difference in him not being in the points battle and currently leading the points battle.
Boy, he does scream that engine.
Well, on the final lap, in fact, that's the final turn as he'll make his way onto the oval. And it's a big sweeper as he comes around. He'll be looking square into the checkered flag. And for the 3rd race in a row, Scott Taylor wins in Class 7S. We're at the Chevrolet Off-Road Challenge. We'll talk to our winner right after this. Back at the Chevrolet Off-Road Challenge in Luxembourg, Wisconsin. Marty Reid along with Ivan Stewart. Let's take a look at the final results in Class 7S. And with this win, Scott Taylor is going to widen his lead. Remember, it was 6 points over Al Walentowski heading into today's race. Walentowski finishing in 8th. And the man that we thought was going to be a contender all season long, John Greaves, ended up in 12th. Let's go down to victory lane with Ivan Stewart.
Well, Scott, you're having a great year. A good start. Started in 2nd row. Looked like you played traffic well. You got a decent start and chased down Jim Wiggins. The only thing you can see you made a couple mistakes. You got her hiked a couple times when you got the lane. Just tell them about it.
Well, the track is real dry, or real tacky. It's drying out from all the rain we've had, and the corners are getting real sticky. And they're hooking up too good in the back end. You get into the turns and they're bicycling. You got to be careful. You can't pitch them sideways yet. The track's not quite ready for it.
Well, you made it work for you. When you caught Jim Wiggins, the way it looked to me, you got a little close and bumped him, may got him sideways. that wasn't intentional, I'm assuming.
No, and I got to go over and apologize. It wasn't an intentional shot. Jimmy's having a little bit of trouble with his truck handling. The suspension isn't quite working right, and it's sticking up. And when he hits the second time, he gets sideways, and it evidently is ducking him to the inside, sideways in front of me. And it's not an intentional deal. In fact, I did everything I could to stop from hitting. But once you touch, it kind of hooks up, and you start playing dog and cat. You kind of hook up and go around. But anyway, it wasn't an intentional thing, because when you're hitting somebody, you're slowing yourself down. You'd rather slingshot around and be clean.
Well, let's take a look at the Pro Series point standings. Scott Taylor now leads Jim Wiggins by 17. Now remember, you get 20 points for a victory, so this is a commanding lead with only 2 races yet to go as we look on down through. And it's just amazing to me. John Greaves, we thought he would contend at the season's beginning, but he is tied for 10th with 26. Now the buggies are coming out. This is class 9-10 highlight action that we're going to be able to show you. We can't show you all the racing action of all the divisions that go on, but this is one of the more exciting buggy classes. They are unlimited, with a co-rider being optional. Maximum CC of 1,650, and they crank out about 150 horsepower. Now in this race, at the very start, watch the 922 of Todd Attig. He climbs up the 905 of Dan Badu. They get tangled, but they finally break free. The 937 of Randy Eller hits the 947 of Chad Ramish. Now the 099 of Geoff Probst would take the lead momentarily over Tom Schwartzberg, but right in this very corner, he ends up braking. That means it's now Schwartzberg and Schmitt battling for the lead as they head around that tough right-hand turn. Down the straightaway, it was Art Schmitt, the current points leader in Class 9-10, over Tom Schwartzberg. Now watch the 937 of Randy Eller as he dusts for bugs on the left side. The puff of smoke, but he continued in the race. This was the battle for third. Todd Attig, he'll get up on 2 wheels, which lets the 912 of Jeff St. Peter take the position. Now remember, St. Peter is second in the points heading into this race. Now Art Schmitt up front, literally on cruise control as he was leading comfortably. Back to action as Todd Attig and Jeff St. Peter trade positions again. But now the battle is for second, and St. Peter tries to make the pass. Can't make it stick into that hard left-hander at the end of the front straightaway. This battle continued for one more turn. In fact, these two, watch as they come down the straightaway. A puff of smoke from St. Peter's car, and they touch, but nobody gets up and over. But the puff of smoke would be a bad sign, as St. Peter would end up being passed by Dan Badu for third place. And there was the pass as Badu gets inside the slowing Jeff St. Peter. Meanwhile, fifth place, Randy Eller does his impersonation of Walker Evans, getting way outside on the course and going over the edge. Now the 905 of Dan Badu gets bogged down in the mud, and Jeff St. Peter got back into third place. It turned out to really be second because Todd Attig ends up braking and pulling over by the side as Art Schmitt wins his third straight Class 9-10 event on the Soda Series. Behind Schmitt in the final standings, it was Jeff St. Peter, Tom Schwartzberg in third, Todd Attig in fourth, and Randy Eller rounding out the top 5. Now, as far as the Pro Series point standings in Class 9-10, it's now 8 points separating Schmitt and St. Peter. Schwartzberg with 46 has an outside shot, but he's going to need some help in the last 2 events. Heavy metal championship time here at Luxembourg as the trucks pull out onto the race course. This is the big showdown, Ivan, between Class 8, Class 4, and here is what it's all about.
Marty, this has always been the big controversy. Can a 2-wheel drive beat a 4-wheel drive? They must conform to the class rules and must have competed in a class race today.
Let's take a look now at the Chevrolet starting field. Remember earlier today, Walker Evans won in Class 8. He'll be in the 817 Dodge. Jack Flannery in the number 435 Chevrolet will also be in this starting field. Jed Flannery, Jack's son, will be in the number 812. And also in the starting field will be Jeff Dorr. He'll be in the Ford. He'll have number 400 on the side. Scott Taylor will also be here in the number 800 Ford. He not doing well. He'd probably like to have the 7S out there with all the victories he's had in that class. Chad Hall in the number 411. That's one of the Dodge contingent. And as we look at the rest of the starting field, remember, this is for bragging rights only. No points involved in this showdown event.
Marty, this is going to be really interesting, this particular race, because these short straightaways, I don't know who's going to have the advantage.
Let's take a look at in-cars. This is Jeff Dorr out the front of his Ford. Then Scott Taylor and the rear view here, as you see. And then we also have the suspension camera on Scott's car. And then Jack Flannery out the front of his Chevrolet. Ready for the green flag. And this race is underway, and whoa, great start.
Look at the acceleration of Jack Flannery. He will accelerate.
Whoa! And Flannery gets it up on the bicycle. Down the front straightaway with Greg Gerlach, who's going to take the lead. Oh, Chad Hall. Hall gets turned around sideways, makes a nice recovery, but it's going to move him back to the back. And Chad Schluter gets into one of the light poles here at the track, and he's in for a tough day. Gerlach, and he gets spun around on 2 wheels and hands the lead to Jack Flannery.
Look at the back of Jack's truck. They've already had some damage.
Scott Taylor is second. Walker Evans is third. Let's take a look at what happens to Chad Schluter. There you see him right into the light pole. Boy, he took care of that.
He smacked that one a good one.
So Chad gets turned around, and look at the damage. He has a flat left rear, so that's going to take care of his day as far as any chances are concerned. And whoa, Scott Taylor on the bicycle, and Walker Evans right behind him. Ford against Dodge in this battle. The Chevrolet up front. Oh, and the Ford of Scott Taylor just too hot for the corner.
He just got too hot in the corner. He just felt he couldn't make it without getting up on 2 wheels again. Those corners are really getting loose, Marty, and that's what happens. They get up on 2 wheels, and he didn't want to take that chance.
On board with Geoff Dorr. That is a battle for 6th position. Jed Flannery right in front of him. Again, that's a Chevy versus Ford battle. And Chevy in front as of this moment.
2-wheel drive versus 4-wheel drive. Let's see what Geoff can do, though. He's got the 4-wheel drive and the horsepower.
Yes, Jed Flannery gets wide in that wet section of the course. Back up front, you can see Jack Flannery's opened the lead over Walker Evans. 3rd place is Scott Taylor. And he's trying to reel Evans back in. Then there is 4th place. That is Jamie Flannery. He's in the 8:15, and Dan Vandenheuvel in the 8:09 is 5th. Oh, Flannery's got control right now. Notice the 2-wheel drive just having trouble hooking up.
That's what's happening, Marty. The 4-wheel drive is just accelerating right on these little short straightaways and making a difference to have that 4-wheel drive.
Now that's a battle for 7th. Dave Hockers, Chad Hall, and Brian Frankenberg. So these guys having a good battle back in the pack. Now remember, Chad Hall had that rough contact at the beginning of this race, and you can see the damage on his right rear quarter panel. He's behind Dave Hockers. Here is Jamie Flannery and Dan Vandenheuvel. That's a battle for 4th. Little love tap there saying, son, I'm back here.
And look at the made a pass on Jamie there. Just he's really getting aggressive.
And that means 4th place now belongs to Vandenheuvel, and Geoff Dorr is now attacking Jamie Flannery as well for 5th. Walker Evans, 2nd place. Look out on the bicycle. That's going to cost him a position. There goes Scott Taylor, and Evans may be out of this race.
He's killed the motor. No, he's got it going again, Marty.
All right, but it's going to be very costly in that back section, and he has lost several positions. Scott Taylor now in 2nd place. Take a look. Oh, look at how much mud up underneath on this suspension.
Oh, that's a great shot. That shows how the suspension is moving. When it gets in the air, it gets real calm and hangs down. That's when the truck is flying.
And out the back. Look at how much dirt he is pitching.
There is a couple ton of dirt coming out the back of that truck.
Well, you definitely don't want to be standing behind Scott Taylor right now. He is throwing up a ton.
And that's exactly what goes into the radiator. That's why we're having a lot of engine problems here today.
Here's the leaderboard at the Chevrolet Off Road Challenge. Jack Flannery on top in the Heavy Metal Championship. Stay with us. The final moments are coming up.
So, what can you do with Haviland Synthetic Motor Oil? Well, the Ford Rough Rider Racing Team uses it to run and play and splash and fly and win, win, win. It's their official motor oil. But you don't have to drive like this to use it. You can drive like this if you want to. Either way, you add more life to your car. And if you don't have a car, well, you can win a truck. We're giving away this Ford Bronco and this Ford Ranger in our big sweepstakes. Get entry forms at participating locations where Haviland Synthetic is sold. And if you buy some, you can get this $6 rebate. So go now. With Haviland Synthetic, everybody wins.
Back in Luxembourg, Wisconsin, the Chevrolet Off Road Challenge. Marty, Reid, and I'm Stewart. This is the Heavy Metal Championship, and there is your leader, Jack Flannery, as he makes his way around that tight 180-degree course. That's John Connaughton in the blue truck. He is lap traffic. 2nd place, Scott Taylor. 3rd place is Walker Evans in the Dodge. That is lap traffic. Bob Bemmels in front, and Walker having a tough time reeling him in.
Walker dives. Oops, there we go up on two wheels again. These corners are really getting chewed up, Marty. That's the real challenge for these Class 8s. So the two-wheel drive, you got to pitch him in the corner.
Dan Vandenheuvel up, and it looks like he may have gone over. Yes. Jamie Flannery and Jeff Dorr get by, but Vandenheuvel. Let's take a look from inside Jeff Dorr's car.
We talk about Dan getting aggressive, and he gets a little bit aggressive right here, just a little bit too much. He caught that berm, and over he goes, Marty.
Oh, and Dorr has to take evasive action to keep from T-boning it.
That's off-road racing at its best.
So Vandenheuvel and his co-rider safely out of the truck, but that's going to do it for their day. And that corner will go yellow for the remainder of the race. They'll try and get that cleared away. On board again now, that is Jed Flannery, son of Jack, right in front of the old man, and saying, "Oh, Dad, please don't put me a lap down."
And I'm sure Jack's going to give him a little nudge and say, "Son, move over. I'm coming through. I got time to waste." Walker's back there.
Well, heading down into turn one. Oh, there it was. A little up tap saying, "Oh, boy, you want to keep driving, get out of the way." Jack gets around. That's Bob Bemmels' lap traffic as well behind, and he gets safely past son Jed. I'm sure there'll be a few discussions after the race is over on that one. There's second place, and Scott Taylor just not able to reel him in. No, Walker Evans, he's got a problem.
He's got a definite problem. Looked like something that's
flat right front.
He got a flat tire, Marty. You're right.
Flat right front for Walker Evans, and look at the lap traffic behind him. Everybody coming around, and he's heading for the pit. So that's going to do it for Walker's chances here at the Heavy Metal Championship. That's Bob Bemmels, and behind him is the battle for third. Jamie Flannery in the 8:15, and Jeff Dorr, and there is the onboard camera with Dorr. Dorr gets into the quarter panel. Flannery holds the position. This is for third place on the race course. Dorr, you would think he'd be able to work his way around quickly, but he's got four-wheel drive compared to two-wheel drive.
Well, he's got the motor and he's got the acceleration, but you got these little short straightaways, and in the corner he just doesn't have time to make a move, and he's not diving in there. He's going to have to get more aggressive.
Oh, and look at the flat left rear. That's going to make it a lot easier to get around.
Yeah, Jamie's got a problem. You know, it's funny the amount of flat tires we have. It's got, I don't see rocks in the course, but the guys are sliding into the berms, I think, Marty, and knocking the tire off the wheel.
Let's go back up front. That is Jack Flannery. Oh, and Bob Bemmels comes together with the race leader.
Oh, he's got to be careful. He's only got one lap to go. Don't do that.
Talk about getting close to cutting a tire or getting spun out or anything else. Jack Flannery, a close moment there, but he recovers, and 1 lap to go.
He's got a good lead. He's comfortable. He's again, just get on down to the finish line. We'll win another race.
Second place is Scott Taylor, and remember the battle for third. There is Scott, and again, he's got an overheating problem.
He does. That's the engine overheating. He's back in that mud, and you can see the mud right there on the suspension top, and that goes into the radiator. Same thing.
Boy, that vehicle doing a lot of work, as they all do, trying to make it over this tough layout here at Luxembourg, Wisconsin. The final lap, and it's not so much the suspension holding out, will the radiator hold out? Here comes Jack Flannery. The checkered flag is out. He's going to win the heavy metal showdown here in Luxembourg, Wisconsin. He takes the checkered flag, and when we come back, we'll talk to him at the Chevrolet Off Road Challenge. Let's take a look at the final results in the Heavy Metal Championship here at the Chevrolet Off Road Challenge. Jack Flannery in front of Scott Taylor and Jeff Dorr. Son Jed finishes in 4th, and John Conitzer in 5th. Biggest surprise, we expected Walker Evans to finish up higher. He's in 10th. Let's go down to Victory Lane and Ivan Stewart.
Jack, you're making a real habit out of this. You did this race just exactly like you had a strategy. You got a good start, stayed real clean. The truck performed perfect.
Yeah, I did, Ivan. You're exactly right. I try to keep my truck clean, at least on the starts back here, because, you know, it's just so critical. If you don't have a healthy truck, you're most likely going to get beat anyway. So first lap or so, I just try to keep that truck healthy. I try to run as hard as everybody else is, and as soon as I can get a position, I start grabbing them, and that's what happened. These Goodyears was hooking up hard, and I'll tell you what, they was doing everything I could ask a tire to do.
The only thing I was a little bit worried about, you were a little patient in traffic. I could see Scott Taylor getting closer and closer. Were you watching him, or do you have radio communication knowing that he was getting as close as he was?
You notice I hit my son pretty hard. You know, I gave him long enough, and he was holding a pretty good groove, and he was holding about the same groove I wanted. I could see Scotty was coming up a little bit, and I gave my boy a pretty good hit down there, but he got out of my way then. This truck weighs 50-some hundred pounds, and it gave him a pretty good hit, but, you know, that's racing out there, and I don't think I hurt either one of us, and got around him, and after that I could do everything I wanted to do. I just kind of held my position and kept everybody where I wanted to.
You can take a look. He holds a 17-point margin over Jim Wiggins. Al Walentowski is third with 42. Now, we talked about strategy with Scott Taylor before the race.
Today's driving strategy, I've thought about it. These guys are getting a little tired of me beating them, and you know, they're all looking at me saying, what's it going to take? So we've had 4 weeks off. I got to believe they've been working, they've been thinking, they've been tweaking. So have we. We're going to get in that truck and we're going to run it just as hard as we can run it. We've got a point to prove, we've got a series to win, and that's what I'm here to do.
Marty, just take a look and see what a Class 7 is. Two-wheel drive production, mini or mid-size pickups. Got to be 4 cylinders, maximum of 2.5 liters. They make about 200 horsepower.
Let's take a look at the Chevrolet starting field. Scott Taylor, the points leader and winner of the championship last year. Jim Wiggins in pursuit. He trails by 17 points. And Geoff Kincaid from Crandon, Wisconsin, age 28. He'll be in the 707. Tom Hockers from Greenleaf, Wisconsin. He'll be in the number 705. Paul Corning from Marytown, Wisconsin. He's also in this starting field and doing very well this season in the points championship. One man who is not is John Greaves. He's in this lineup, but he has had a very tough season in his Toyota. On board right now with Scott Taylor out the front of his Ford Ranger. Green flag drops. Wiggins on the right side of your screen in the blue and yellow 786 gets the jump and takes the early lead. That's Tom Hockers in second and John Greaves third.
He made a good move. If you watch that start, he got off on the right-hand side and pulled up real well.
On board again with Scott Taylor, and he comes together with Dave Wolf.
I think they come together. It looks to me like maybe Dave came in on him, Marty.
Either that or Scott gets into Dave. Either way, the result is Wolf is spun all the way around, and now we head down as Tom Hockers tries to make a pass on the outside, and he goes into the barrier, and that is Scott Taylor, the third truck involved.
Well, see, this is that same corner we've had so much trouble with before. It's real slick, and then it goes into the real loose stuff, so he just slid right into it.
And Hockers having a tough time getting away from Joe Dunlap. Dunlap's the 799. Let's take another look at it.
Well, I tell you what, yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. It's slick, it's real slick. The guys are going way too hot. Boom, right into that wall, and there's Scott Taylor. I tell you, if I were Scott Taylor, I think, Marty, that'd be much more careful than that.
Take a listen here as we look at it again.
Ooh, that was a hard hit, I'll tell you.
I'm surprised he's able to keep going, and boy, what a change that would have been if he would not be able to continue, because Jim Wiggins needs to win this race, and that is John Greaves right behind him.
And John is also aggressive. He's John, I look for John. He'd take a move on the outside. If he passes him here, it's going to be one good move.
Now remember, Greaves finished second at Lake Geneva, and since then hasn't been able to find the finish line, and he ducks to the inside and takes the lead.
He's the same story. He starts off strong, he's fast, he's aggressive, he's an excellent driver in my opinion. Pitches the truck around real well, but then he has some kind of a mechanical problem. Continually some kind of a little problem comes up and bites him.
Is this a case where he doesn't have the cubic dollars to match the cubic talent that he's got?
Well, in my opinion, it is, really. He could use some more dollars to work with. A little more sponsorship would help, because I think he's got a tremendous amount of potential as far as the driver.
So he may be pushing the equipment a little further than the equipment can handle right now.
That's exactly what I think, Marty. He's got a tremendous amount of talent.
There is Geoff Kincaid. Now he is currently running third and back on board with Scott Taylor. He is fifth with all that damage.
He's got a hood damage, but it sounds like the engine's running well. I think all this stuff is only cosmetic. The engine sounds good. There's no shim in the steering wheel. I think that's all it is, Marty.
Well, he's closing on Paul Corning, who is in fourth, and it looks like he's going to take him.
Yeah, he is. He looks like he moved right to the inside of him. He's coming up to this hard left-hand corner. Let's see if he gets by him.
Well, he's out of sight, and yes, he is well past him, so Scott Taylor's moved into fourth.
But the only thing I'd be worried about here, Marty, would be possibly a radiator or oil cooler, something like that.
Well, so far, it looks like Scott Taylor is able to continue in fine fashion at the True Value Great Northern Challenge. There's the leaderboard. Back with more after this. Back at the True Value Great Northern Challenge, Marty Reid along with Ivan Stewart. That is leader Johnny Greaves. But whoa, listen to that sound, Ivan.
He has blown something, or something has happened. Look at the underneath there. Drive shaft flopping around there, Marty. He's got some kind of a drivetrain, drive shaft problem or something.
So the misfortunes of John Greaves in Class 7S continue, and he is out of this race again while he was up front. It has happened many times. Jim Wiggins takes over the lead. That is Geoff Kincaid in second.
And they're just trying to get through these, you know, these tires here have always worried me a little bit. They try and get through those tires down to this hard left-hand corner. This is a tricky corner again, Marty.
You mean the tires that mark the corner? It's a little bit deceiving from our camera angle, as it looks closer to the course than it actually is because of the depth perception. Now this is down the fast straightaway on the interior portion of the course, heading for turn 3, and it looks like Kincaid is closing.
He is, and he look like they're just protecting the line. He's going to get in the outside, see if he can't get a little bit better drive out there.
Yeah, Wiggins taking the defensive line on the inside, and it may hurt him here because he didn't come off the corner very well.
He lost a little bit of speed. That's the danger, and he's going to... And he got by him. That's a good move. That was a perfect move to make in that particular corner.
Passes him on the triple jump, and Geoff Kincaid is your new leader down into turn 4.
He's plenty aggressive. He's going to be a little bit more protective of the line, and let's see how he can do.
Well, there is Scott Taylor, and Ivan the Hood comes flying off. He's in 3rd.
I'm sure he's probably glad to get rid of that. Sometimes it can be real frustrating flying up and down in front of your face there.
And flying through in 4th place through the triple jumps, that was Tom Hockers. Now there was Geoff Kincaid, and look at the margin between 1st and 2nd place. Wiggins has lost contact.
He has. He's going to have to really get with it if he's going to win this race.
Wiggins 4 times in the top 5 this year in 1993. Boy, he really needs a win, and he needs Scott Taylor to have some mechanical difficulties. Now here's Joe Dunlap and Paul Corning. That's a battle for 4th place, and Dunlap's going to take it.
Pulls around the outside. He gets out in that soft stuff, but he's going to get good drive out there, I think. We'll see if it's sometimes it works for him, sometimes it doesn't. It's starting to dry out a little bit, Marty. I think it's getting to be a better line.
Down the front straightaway in front of the grandstands here at the I-96 Speedway. Whoa! Look out! Tom Hockers just slides off the course through turn number 1, that fast sweeper.
We see these 2-wheel drive trucks, and again, these are 2-wheel drives. He got out in that loose stuff and slid right off the course.
Now this is Kincaid, followed by Wiggins, and then Scott Taylor off way into the distance in 3rd, and we are on the final lap. So it looks as though in the race for Class 7S in the Pro Series Points Championship will go down to the last race of the season, but it is going to be Scott Taylor in command.
But Scott Taylor's made up a lot of ground on these guys. He's really pulled up on them, Marty.
Right now, I'm sure he's going to be very happy to escape with 3rd place points after that crash in the very first lap of this race. Now that is lap traffic in front of our winner, Geoff Kincaid, and Kincaid's going to get the checkered flag right here as he takes the win on the outside to claim the 7S race here at the True Value Great Northern Challenge. We'll come back to talk with our winner and update the points championship right after this. Well, let's check the final results at the True Value Great Northern Challenge in Class 7S. Geoff Kincaid snapped Scott Taylor's 3-race winning streak, taking his 2nd victory of the year, and Ivan Stewart's in victory lane with the winner.
Well, Geoff, you really had the Valvoline Ford really hooked up today. It looked like it was running just fantastic.
Yeah, it run great today. We didn't know what to run for tires today. And we was asking little Joe from Goodyear, and we was asking and asking. Nobody really know for sure. But little Joe set us up with a pair of them. They hooked up pretty good. We got spun around in the first corner here, let them all go, but we got them back right away. They hooked up and went real good.
Well, let's check the Class 7S Pro Series point standings because Scott Taylor holds a 15-point margin now over Jim Wiggins. It is a 2-man race, 15 points. Remember, you get 20 for a victory in each round. So it is going to be up to Wiggins to force the issue at the last round, which will be the True Value World Championships coming from Crandon, Wisconsin. Now, we can't show you all the action today from Lake Odessa and the I-96 Speedway, but we do want to show you highlights from Class 9-10 because the Pro Series Championship in this group is up for grabs between 2 drivers. Unlimited buggies, co-riders are optional. Maximum CC displacement of 1650, and these motors will put out about 150 horsepower. And there it is, Art Schmitt and Jeff St. Peter. Schmitt leads by 8 points in this division with 2 races remaining. This is definitely up for grabs. And when the green flag dropped, it was Todd Attig in the 922, right in the middle of your screen, takes advantage of his front row starting position and takes the early lead. Points leader Art Schmitt got tangled up with Dan Badeau, who hit the tires. That knocked Schmitt out of the race and opened the door for Jeff St. Peter. Now this is Todd Attig, and he had opened up a huge lead over Don Ponder, and the man in third place was St. Peter, and all he could smell was blood because he knew at this point that he had everything to gain just by finishing the race. Fourth place, Ken Poole got tangled up with lap traffic earlier, crushing part of his steering. He couldn't turn there, and he runs into the tire barriers. 903, Tom Schwartzberg, the 1088 of Jack Haneland, Greg Ward, all battling for 8th. Schwartzberg and Ward make contact, and Schwartzberg takes 8th place with a very tough inside pass. Geoff St. Peter gets his break and takes over 2nd as Don Ponder can't see very well. The lid on the front of the car comes right up in his face. You can see he's got about 3 inches to see. St. Peter goes on by and now was in 2nd place. Meanwhile, Todd Attig was up front, and he was going to take the checkered flag to win the Class 9-10 championship at the True Value Great Northern Challenge. Here was the way the finishing order stood at the end of the race, with Geoff St. Peter 2nd and picking up 16 valuable points, which would mean, as we take a look at the points championship, it would now be Geoff St. Peter with a 2-point margin over Art Schmitt with 1 race remaining. Now, as we get ready for the Heavy Metal Championship, you know, suspension always plays a key role in all of off-road racing. Ivan Stewart takes a look at the setup of suspension.
Ever wonder how one of these big trucks weighing 5,000 pounds can run 100 miles an hour off an 8-foot jump, come down without completely self-destructing? Let me show you the suspension on these trucks. This is Scott Taylor's Class 8, and he uses a coil spring type of suspension right here. And this is Jack Flannery's truck. You can see this is a coil-over suspension. If the coil spring is wrapped around the shock absorber. Also, you can see this hydraulic bump stop. That compresses as this big truck comes off these big jumps. Gerald Foster truck. This is a conventional long leaf spring type of suspension. This is the earlier style. This is an older type of suspension. He also uses 4 shock absorbers. And this is John Greaves' Toyota. You can see he uses a torsion bar type of suspension. This bar actually winds up and absorbs that energy as the truck comes off these big jumps. Your truck can have all the horsepower in the world, but if it doesn't handle those 3 jumps on a race course, you're not going to get in the winner's circle.
Now we're getting ready for the Heavy Metal Showdown. Let's go back to Class 8 action, because this is the transmission explosion suffered by Walker Evans in that race. Now, remember, he got out of the truck limping. Here's the reason why. Look at the hole in the floorboard right next to the accelerator pedal. Let's get an update on his right foot.
Well, it's not broken. It's bruised real bad. It's starting to turn black and blue. We're going to make the best of it. I'm certain that it's going to be all right. I'll tell you, it was a scary little deal for a moment, though.
Now, there was a lot of shrapnel flying around in there. Are you going to make any design changes?
Well, certainly. After something like that, we're going to put a scatter shield and a scatter blanket around the transmission. After all, 2 things is better than 1, and I'm going to make sure that this doesn't happen again.
Well, as we look at the requirements for heavy metal, it probably would be a good idea for everybody to have one of those scatter blankets, Ivan.
Well, I agree, Marty. Remember, these engines, some of them turn in the neighborhood of 8,000 RPMs.
Let's get ready now for the Heavy Metal Showdown with the Chevrolet starting field. Jack Flannery, he's the winner in Class 4. Walker Evans is going to be able to make this race. He'll be in the 817 Dodge. Scott Taylor in the Ford. Now, remember, 800 numbers are 2-wheel drive. 400 numbers, like Greg Gerlach, are 4-wheel drive. Chad Hall also in this race. He had a good run in the Class 4 championship earlier. Kevin Probst made the repairs after suffering breakage in Class 4 action. He'll make the starting field, as will Jack Heitman from Marquette, Michigan. He'll be in the number 406. And this is a huge field. As we look at the rest of the grid, it's going to be interesting to see what happens through this first turn and down the straightaway.
That's right, Marty. This is going to be a hard one to call because this track is so tricky. There's some good fast corners. There's some tight ones. It's going to be hard to call.
Now that's out the back of Jack Flannery Chevrolet, and guess who is right behind him? That's right, Walker Evans, out the front of Scott Taylor's Ford, and the back as well.
I tell you what, this is going to be interesting, Marty. Again, this is bragging rights only. They're off.
And that's John Greaves on the pole inside position, but he is not going to take the early lead as he gets a little loose. Greg Gerlach in the number 402, the truck on the outside, and Jack Heitman gets a great start.
That's a perfect example of 4-wheel drive. Whoop, we got a spin already.
Oh, that is Kevin Probst. Will he get collected? Oh, Walker Evans gets held up by him. No contact. But look, it's Probst again, and Walker gets into him that time. Oh, and then Walker gets slammed by another truck.
He just got hit hard. There had to be some damage on that one.
Probst has a flat flat tire, that is the problem that got him spinning around twice, because Kevin is a better driver than that. But look at this. Next to dead last is Walker Evans. It's going to be interesting to see him work his way through this huge field. Greg Gerlach first, Jack Heitman second, John Greaves third.
Jack Flannery's in there. Jack's up in that race too, Marty.
Right, he's in the 5th position right now. Oh, look out. That looks like Johnny Greaves. He gets sideways and touches the wall. Not serious, though, on the damage. On board now with Scott Taylor down the front straightaway.
What's really a shame is Walker come all the way out from Riverside, California. He had a horrible first race, and now he gets knocked back to the back of the pack. That's a shame.
Out the back of Jack Flannery's truck, he has just taken over second place as he has moved around Jack Heitman. So Jack Flannery seizing the opportunity to get ahead of both Scott Taylor and Walker Evans, his chief rivals.
Keep in mind now, Jack Flannery has 2 trucks, a Class 8 and a Class 4, and he always opts for that 4-wheel drive.
I wonder why. That truck has been dominant all year long in its class, and with the 4-wheel drive, it is a definite advantage, especially coming down into this last turn, turn 4. We've seen how loose it has been for the Class 8s, and watch how well the Class 4s get through.
Well, the biggest thing you're going to see, here's a perfect example of the acceleration of that 4-wheel drive.
Boy, he just gets around Greg Gerlach, and now Jack Flannery from Crandon, Wisconsin, is in the lead. There is Jed Flannery. He is in 6th, and he looks like he's having a little bit of a problem. Now, remember, he's 2-wheel drive.
He's 2-wheel drive, and he's back there still.
Oh, no, and Walker Evans was 10th, and all of a sudden gets hung up on one of the tire marker barriers. It marks the inside part of the course. This is a battle for 7th. Scott Taylor in the heat of it. He is now around, that's Jamie Flannery, in the 8:15. So Taylor has moved into 7th.
He got out in that loose stuff, and it looks like Jamie might get him back here.
Boy, the action back in the pack is fast, and it is furious. On board again with Scott Taylor. That's Jeff Dorr that he just gets around for 6th, and Jed Flannery in front of him for 5th.
Lots of traffic. Hard to get around here, Marty. This type of a course is really hard to pass if the guy stays in line.
And that's Jeff Dorr getting back around Scott Taylor, so he has been dropped back a position.
Jeff Dorr again, 4-wheel drive. Until the track dries out a little bit more, it's going to be a 4-wheel drive advantage.
Take a look at this rundown. Some of the greatest names in off-road short course racing, and they are leaning on each other through this race. Walker Evans currently 9th. We'll keep you posted on his race back up through the pack.
Look at the traffic, Marty. This is some big iron to be maneuvering between these obstacles. This is a good racing.
And the dust is really beginning to kick up. Oh, Scott Taylor gets hung up. There's Walker Evans breathing down his backside.
Well, let me tell you, Walker Evans is moving up. He's already right up behind Scott Taylor.
This is some great action as Jed Flannery is trying to hold on to position. That is 3rd position for Jed. There's Jeff Dorr trying to sneak underneath Chad Hall.
And you notice the 2-wheel drives, how sideways they get.
Boy, down this back straightaway, look at Dorr trying to find a way to get around Chad Hall. Scott Taylor ducks to the inside underneath Hall. Can he make it stick? Remember, he's 2-wheel drive. Hall tucks back underneath him. Oh, what a great pass by Scott Taylor to move into 3rd.
He did make a good pass. He's got to be much more tighter. He can't afford with 2-wheel drive to get out there in that slop and that loose stuff.
And back in that pack is Walker Evans. See the blue and white Dodge? Remember, he was 19th. Oh, no. And Jeff Dorr gets spun around. That costs him a couple of positions. That helps Walker Evans' quest. And Walker, 19th. Now, look at this. He is currently in 6th. Unbelievable comeback after that lap 1 spin.
Well, Marty, he's on the warpath. Like I say, he's come all the way from Riverside, California. He wants this win in the worst way.
Well, right now, you're on board and getting a look at the venerable veteran from Riverside as he has moved in to striking distance here at the Heavy Metal Championship of the True Value Great Northern Challenge. Stay with us. The True Value Great Northern Challenge, that is Scott Taylor. We're on board, and that is a battle for the lead with Greg Gerlach, and it looks as though the Ford of Scott Taylor has gotten around Gerlach.
I think he has. He has, Marty.
Look at how much dust that these guys are having to cut their way through, and look who is in 3rd place, getting ready to take 2nd. It is the venerable Walker Evans. What a comeback this would be.
Well, absolutely. I'll tell you what's happening, Marty, is this track is starting to dry out a little bit and it's starting to lean toward the 2-wheel drives now.
Take a look at this straightaway as they head down for turn number 3. It is Taylor first, and Walker Evans trying to shoot past for 2nd place. Oh, he gets into the fender, not intentionally, I'm sure, because he kicked up there just momentarily. No major damage for either vehicle, but he does take the position.
I tell you what he's got. He's got his sights on Scott Taylor. He wasn't too concerned with Greg Gerlach, but he wants Scott Taylor. He wants this win, I'll guarantee you.
Out the back of Scott Taylor, and we're watching Walker Evans close up on the Ford. It is Dodge versus Ford at this point. Look at the action going through turn number 4 as he kicks up a lot of dirt.
Look at the amount of dirt coming out the back of that truck, and that goes right under Walker Evans' radiator, remember.
1 lap to go. Can Walker Evans pull it? Oh, Scott Taylor's high.
Ooh, you don't see this very often. If he gets out there and loses much time, Walker's going to get him. 1 lap to go, Marty.
Down the back straightaway. This would be a comeback from 19th position by Walker Evans if he can pull it off.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, Marty, he'd better not make mistakes. Walker Evans got his sights on him.
Oh, and Scott Taylor goes wide, Ivan. Just what you were talking about, a mistake, opening the door, and Walker Evans on the final lap has taken the lead in the Heavy Metal Championship. Taylor's pulling out all the stops. These guys are flying into turn number 3.
Look at the damage on Walker's truck. Well, I tell you what, if anybody could do this type of a drive, Walker Evans, I've seen him do it in the past. Unbelievable.
He is pulling away from Scott Taylor. He is going to win the Heavy Metal Championship with 1 turn remaining. He makes the turn down in 4, keeps it under power. Look at Taylor trying everything he can, but it's not going to work. From 19th position in lap 1 to the winner's circle, Walker Evans in the Dodge takes the Heavy Metal Championship at the True Value Great Northern Challenge. What a comeback and what a show as he spins it around for the fans down into turn number 1. That is one happy driver. And a standing ovation by a lot of the crowd here at Lake Odessa, Michigan. Stay with us. We'll talk to the winner next. Well, let's take a look at the final results at the True Value Great Northern Challenge. Heavy Metal, Walker Evans, can you believe it? Started 19th after getting tangled up, ends up beating Scott Taylor and this huge field. Let's go to victory lane with Ivan Stewart.
Walker, you told me earlier you're going to drive like a man possessed, and by golly, that's exactly what you do. What a great drive.
Well, I had it going the other day in the Class 8 thing, and, you know, as you know, the transmission blew up, and we came through that unscathed, and I had to come back to prove something today, and the big Dodge got it done.
Well, let me tell you, did it ever. What did you think your odds were when you got sideways back over here in turn 1? What are the odds of winning this race? What do you think?
Ivan, you've been there, and I mean, when you got 4-wheel drives up front, scratching, I mean, they got twice the traction you've got. Here you come out of the corner dead last, and you got your work cut out for you. But I didn't give up. I mean, that's the key to the whole thing. You just drive hard, hope everything stays together, and give it your best shot, and it paid off today.
2-wheel drive production mini or mid-size pickup, 4 cylinders only, maximum of 2.5 liters, about 200 horsepower.
Here is the way the Pro Point standings shape up heading into the final round. Scott Taylor, Jim Wiggins, the only 2 that have a chance at winning the crown. Geoff Kincaid, Tom Hockers round out the top 4. Scott Taylor is the man to beat. He'll be in the number 700 from Belvedere, Illinois. Can he make it 2 championships in 1 season? Jim Wiggins, he's the man who's saying, no way, you got to get past me. Geoff Kincaid, right here in Crandon, Wisconsin, he knows this layout very well. Tom Hockers from Greenleaf, Wisconsin, in the 705 would like to cap off his year with a win, as would Alan Walentowski from Pickerel, Wisconsin, at the age of 25. Paul Corning from Marytown, Wisconsin, has had a consistently good run all season long. Jimmy Crowder, hurt in the points championship when he was not able to make the last race because of motor problems. And John Greaves, what a disappointing season. He could cap it off with a win here from De Pere, Wisconsin. As we take a look at the starting field, you got to wonder what's going through John Greaves' head. He has done very well in Class 8 in the 2 races that he's been in that truck, but all season long, he starts well, but hasn't been able to bring that Toyota to the finish line, Ivan.
You're right, Marty. He just can't put it together. He gets good starts. He leads races. He just cannot make it to the winner's circle.
That was on board with Scott Taylor. We have an in-car camera with him out the front as well, and the green flag has dropped. And who is going to lead into turn number 1? Look at the left-hand part of your screen. It looks like the Toyota. Here comes John Greaves. Can he make it stick?
He does. He gets a great start again. Let's see what he can do with it.
Down through turn 1, Greaves, the early leader. A lot of passing going on in the pack behind, but so far everybody clean, making it through. Nice job by this big field in Class 7S.
Scott Taylor's right on him. He's gonna. I guarantee you, Scott won't let him get too far away.
It is John Greaves, Scott Taylor, Jim Wiggins, Tom Hockers, and then Dave Vandenelsen. And look at this action as they are 3 abreast. That is Kincaid trying to work his way down low.
He tried that low position. I don't think it made him any headway there, Marty.
Looked like rush hour at the old freeway. Got a smoking truck there, but it doesn't look to be too serious at this point. We'll keep our eye on it. Remember, Jim Wiggins must finish ahead of Scott Taylor. He is 15 points behind. You get 20 for a win. So Wiggins also needs help from some of these other competitors. Great action going on as Kincaid's trying to work his way around two slower vehicles.
That's Jimmy Crowder all the way from Tallahassee, Florida.
Now that is a battle for 7th place on the race course. Take a look here. This is Paul Corning and Jim Bradley in the 722. That's Bradley getting sideways and getting pushed all the way around. And Joe Dunlap gets into the tangle as well. Some damage to the front end of the 722 of Jim Bradley. But so far so good for this man as John Greaves looks to break what has been a long dry spell in victory lane for this young man.
He can just keep it going, but I tell you, Scott Taylor's still there. All four of these trucks are running pretty good together here, Marty.
Now remember, Geoff Kincaid won the first round at Lake Geneva and round 5 at Lake Odessa. Sandwiched in between, as we get an interval time between first, second, and third, were 3 victories by Scott Taylor. Now to second place Taylor, it is about 4.5 seconds, and to third place, 6.97 seconds. So this man, Scott Taylor, in the driver's seat, and now you're in the driver's seat as well.
Marty, this is interesting to note right here. If you remember in the earlier shot in the Class A truck, how he was fighting the steering wheel. Now he just sits back with ease and kind of glides it through the corners.
Well, he's got an easy time of it right now, but we are told that John Greaves is not going to get an easy time of it. He was ruled to have jumped the start, and he is getting a black flag, Ivan, and he is to pull over this time.
Boy, I tell you what, Marty, there's always luck. The element of luck is always in all of these races, but I tell you, it hasn't been on his side, believe me.
So he pulls over to get a stop-and-go penalty. In fact, he's pulling over and just stopping. So John Greaves appears to be out of this race. Scott Taylor is your new leader, and that is bad news for Jim Wiggins in his quest to take away the points championship from Scott Taylor. Stay with us. We'll be back. Who's going to claim that trophy? It's either going to be first or second place, Taylor or Wiggins. We'll find out at the True Value. Marty, Reid, and Ivan Stewart back with you at the True Value World Championships in Crandon, Wisconsin, and there is your leader in Class 7S, Scott Taylor.
Marty, we've seen him all year long. He's led races, and he makes them look so easy. Do you remember, he has 20 years experience out here. Just a tremendous amount of experience and talent.
It's Geoff Kincaid on the left, and it looks like he's going to pass and take over second place from Jim Wiggins, and that spells doom for Wiggins.
And I also see smoke coming out of his truck.
So whether or not Kincaid can hold on to second will still be a question mark, as he's got heavy smoke, and it looks like it's from the right rear of the car.
That could be a tire rubbing. You know, a lot of times it could be just oil getting flung out of the valve covers onto the headers.
Well, Wiggins needs help desperately. Jimmy Crowder, as we get a look at him, is currently running in 4th place in this race. There is Scott Taylor. Boy, it looks like he is just on cruise control now, knowing that all he has to do is finish this race in the current position with 1 lap to go to claim his 2nd Pro Series championship in the same year.
Boy, what a fantastic year. And he make it look so easy to flick his truck around these corners. And believe me, Marty, it's not that easy.
Looks like Alan Walentowski's year is going to end on a disappointing note. Water spewing from the radiator. Look at how furious the team is. They're pulling it away. They're going to say, go ahead, go, get the points.
He's got that piece of cardboard off the front of the radiator, and it should cool it down now.
On board with Scott Taylor, you saw him wipe away some of the dirt that's been kicked up, but he has been in front. The only problem he's had is a little lap traffic.
Did you notice he shifts this truck? He uses a 4-speed transmission in this Class 7 truck now, which is kind of unusual for this form of racing.
Well, underneath that face mask, you know there has got to be a very big smile, as Scott Taylor is going to take home 2 of those trophies, 2 championships, after negotiating what amounts to be 3 more turns. Geoff Kincaid in 2nd place, coming up on lap traffic, and boy, that truck's bouncing all over the place.
They're still smoking, so evidently it's just a valve curve leaking. I also saw John Greaves go by. John has got running again. They black flagged him, but he's evidently running again.
Up over the last big jump for Scott Taylor from Belvedere, Illinois. He will bring a 2nd championship to Ford in the 1993 season, winning here in Class 7S at the True Value World Championships. There's the checkered flag as Taylor does it in style, winning the race to claim the crown as he brings the truck to a halt in front of this huge crowd at Crandon, Wisconsin. Stay with us. We'll be back to talk to our winner at the True Value World Championship. Back at the True Value World Championships, let's check the final results in Class 7S. And boy, what a way to cap off a great 1993. Scott Taylor wins after taking the lead early from John Greaves and wins the championship as well in the 1993 World Series of Off-Road Racing here in the SOTA World Championship. And before I give you this, I want to bring Ivan in here and let him sort of ask you about today's race. Great run.
Well, Scott, I tell you, we talk about what it takes to win here at Crandon, and we know you got to have horsepower, you got to have a good start, and you can't make mistakes here. And by golly, you did everything today perfect. You did a great job.
Thanks a lot, Ivan. I believe I have all 3 or 4 of them. We've been working real hard on keeping the little truck together. We had a tremendous year this year. Last year we had a rotten year. But, you know, bringing in the new motor program and focus, concentration, paying attention to details puts me up here with you guys.
I got to go back to Lake Geneva, though. I mean, the truck didn't finish the race. You were nowhere to be found, and I didn't expect to be giving you this.
Well, Marty, I tell you, I was wondering if the year wasn't going to start out the same way. But, you know, a few more bugs to work out. We finally found it. And working with Jack Roush once again on that motor has been the key to our success this year in the little truck. It's been absolutely terrific.
Are you going to make me hold this, or are you going to take it from me?
No, I'm going to take it from you. Thank you, Marty.
Congratulations. Great job.
Thanks again. Thanks, Ivan.
Well, let's take a look at the final standings in the Pro Points Series. A 23-point margin for Scott Taylor, as Jim Wiggins just could not catch him and take over that position. Jeff Kincaid finishes 3rd, and on down through the top 10. It is interesting to note that of the 4 championships, only 1 was decided prior to this season's competition. Now, 1 more that is yet to be decided is Class 9-10. The crowd is getting ready for that showdown. It's a 2-man battle between Art Schmitt and Jeff St. Peter, Ivan.
Let's take a look and see what a 910 buggy is. It's unlimited buggy, co-driver's optional, maximum of 1,650 cc's. These cars make just about 150 horsepower.
But they can fly because they're so light in weight. There is the point standings. You get 20 for a win. So no matter what happens, Jeff St. Peter, Art Schmitt, it's a 2-man showdown in this field. Now, as we take a look at this, if you are in a points battle, Ivan, if this was you with a 2 point separating you, what do you do?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll tell you for me, Marty, all the concentration would be right here on the starting line. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, I want to get to turn 1 first. Believe me, that's going to be important.
Art Schmitt in the 902. Todd Attig, who has been a hot driver lately. He won the last time out. He's in the number 922. The green flag drops. Look at this huge field. Attig could play the role of spoiler in this race.
They got to clean. Whoa, Marty, we got a heck of a wreck going here.
I can't tell who it is, Ivan, but it does not involve one of our 2 contenders for the Pro Series 910 Championship. Down through turn number 1, everybody got straightened out and then back underway. It looks to be Art Schmitt, yes, the 902, and Todd Attig. Then Jeff Probst is 3rd, Don Ponder 4th, and Jeff St. Peter is 5th.
We could have a real racer on this particular. Could be a tough one, Marty.
Oh, St. Peter's got to be kicking himself for not getting a better start.
Just what he had to do. He had to get out in front. And right now, it's going to be really tough for him.
Todd Attig, in our last round at Lake Odessa, he was the winner in Class 910. He has been driving better and better.
Just for every time you're backing behind a car and lets that leader get away, that lead point is so critical.
Now that is Jeff St. Peter getting around Dan Badu for 5th place. So St. Peter still has a long way to go.
Well, that was a perfect example. He just got out in that loose stuff and he couldn't, you know, he lets that leader get away from the car lane.
Well, there is the margin between the top 3, and then there is 4th and 5th. So Jeff St. Peter can't waste any time. He's got to reel in Art Schmitt quickly. And oh, he's outside on the loose stuff again.
Again, that's just the place you cannot be out there. When a points race is this close, it's so critical, you can't make those little mistakes.
He's trying everything, probably over-aggressive.
Well, he probably is. He's getting frustrated. He's getting irritated. So I've got to do something. Even if I make a mistake, I've got to get out there. I've got to catch these guys.
Todd Attig in front. That's Art Schmitt on the left side of your screen. It will be Attig leading into turn number 1.
And that's Art Schmitt, who's been on top all year long. He's been just a heck of a contender the whole year.
Yeah, in fact, it was a break in an accident in the last race, which cost him the lead in the points championship. Other than that, he has had a wonderful year in Class 910. You got to remember, that man, Jeff St. Peter, won the first race at Lake Geneva. Then at Anago, it was Art Schmitt, as at the spring run, as again at Luxembourg, as he won 3 in a row. And then Todd Attig found the victory circle in our last stop at Lake Odessa. Art Schmitt, if it ended right now with Schmitt in 2nd place, as That is Geoff Probst breathing down on his tailpipe. He would finish with 92 points. A 5th place finish for Geoff St. Peter would give him 89, so the championship would go to Art Schmitt.
Extremely critical racing here, Marty.
There goes your leader, Todd Attig. There is 2nd place, Art Schmitt. And again, closing is Geoff Probst. Well, right now, the Class 9-10 trophy belongs to Art Schmitt. But will it be his by the time this race ends? Stay with us. We'll find out at the True Value World Championship from Crandon, Wisconsin. Marty, Reid, and Ivan Stewart back with you at Crandon, Wisconsin. That was your leader in Class 9-10, Todd Attig. There is Art Schmitt, 2nd place. Ivan, he's slowing down. He is slowing down and being passed by Geoff Probst.
He has got a major problem. He just never runs that slow. It's jumped out. The engine had to have died on that or something like that.
And Geoff St. Peter has just gone by. As he gets it refired, does he have a transmission problem? Or is it something else? Art Schmitt is now back behind Geoff St. Peter.
You know, a lot of times people don't understand that your hands can actually come off the steering wheel over one of the bumps or jumps and hit the ignition switch. I've done that in the past. Something like that may have just happened.
So it either got kicked out of gear, perhaps, the ignition switch, whatever it is. Art Schmitt has now given back the lead in the points championship to Geoff St. Peter.
That was one of the worst things that could have happened to him right there, Marty.
Todd Attig, almost lost in the shuffle of the championship, has done a super job this year, especially late in the go, winning last time out at Lake Odessa. And there, Schmitt having more troubles and getting refired. I'm wondering if could it be maybe a spark plug wire has come loose? He's got a miss or something?
Well, maybe even a fuel pump pickup, something like that. Maybe low on fuel. The fuel pump isn't picking the gas up on a particular right-hand, left-hand corner.
I can't believe he would have kicked it out of gear twice.
No, I don't believe that either. It wouldn't have been an ignition switch. I think it's probably running out of gas, something along that line.
I can't believe they'd be out of fuel. Also,
well,
I think your fuel pickup may be the right scenario. Whatever it is, this man, the 2nd car in your screen, Geoff St. Peter, is on the verge of claiming the Pro Series championship in Class 9-10. And as we look back, Art Schmitt is slowing again, so there is serious trouble in either the fuel or engine compartment of that Class 9-10 buggy. He is in 8th place, and he's watching the championship fall away.
Oh, that's a horrible place to be in. Just to be this close and have some kind of little problem like that keep plaguing you.
Todd Attig has 1 lap to go to take the checkered flag to make it 2 wins in a row. And it does a lot for momentum towards next year to come off 2 wins like that.
Well, absolutely it does. It makes a statement that you've won in the past. We're tough. We were tough last year. Look out for us this year. So that's going to be very important to take home that championship.
About the only thing he has to look out for right now is lap traffic. 2 vehicles in front of him. He needs to be a little patient here. He's got plenty of a lead over that man, Geoff Probst. And then that's lap traffic in front of Geoff St. Peter. St. Peter in 3rd place, Ivan, and that's good enough to take home the championship.
It is. He's got to be feeling awfully good right now to know that he's had this good of a year and he's going to get a championship.
Well, here comes your winner for the 2nd time in a row. Todd Attig's going to look at the checkered flag. He gets the checkered flag. Todd Attig, the winner in Class 9-10, will wait for Geoff St. Peter to make his way as Geoff Probst will finish 2nd. And here comes Geoff St. Peter with 1 turn to go and the championship in his grasp as St. Peter takes home the Pro Series points title over arch rival Art Schmitt and the rest of this great 9-10 field. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll talk to our winners at Crandon, Wisconsin. Marty, Reid, and Ivan Stewart back with you at the True Value World Championships in Crandon, Wisconsin. Todd Attig, for the 2nd time in a row, has won in Class 9-10. Geoff Probst 2nd, and Geoff St. Peter wins the championship over Art Schmitt. Schmitt finishes in 8th.
Well, Todd, that's 2 for 2. You had a great start. Any problems whatsoever?
I had a beautiful start. I tell you, the Budweiser and MTX car worked great. Art Schmitt gave me a little bit of run there at the start. He developed a miss later on in the race. We were able to keep real clean, and they did a beautiful job here at Crandon with all the rocks, and they did a nice job grooming the track. And I'd like to thank BFG for getting me the tire to hook up well.
Well, we've got a moment here. We got to bring in the man, Ivan, who won it all, and this is the trophy for the year-long championship for Class 9-10. Congratulations, Geoff.
Thanks a lot, Marty. It was a very long season, and we fought with this one tooth and nail right to the end. I'm glad to have it over with.
Now, you know Art had a mechanical problem, but you were closing on him there when he started to have that misfire.
Yeah, I seemed to be closing on him pretty rapidly there, and then all of a sudden he had a mechanical failure. I believe he said it was electrical, and that pretty much took care of it.
Congratulations on a great season.
Thanks a lot, Marty.
Let's take a look at the final Pro Series point standings. In Class 910, Jeff St. Peter wins by 8 over Art Schmitt. Todd Attig, with those 2 wins, jumps into 3rd place ahead of Tom Schwartzberg with 64. As we look on down through the list, Jeff Probst ends up tying Dan Badu with his 2nd place finish, moving into a tie for 7th. We're getting ready now for heavy metal action, and tires are always critical in this race, especially keeping them on the bead. Ivan Stewart has more in a tire tip on what the bead is all about.
One of the unique things in off-road racing is the device that we use on our wheels called a bead lock. This device right here. This actually locks the tire to the wheel. Now, in your passenger car, the tire goes underneath this lip. The air pressure holds the tire to the bead. It would never work in off-road racing. You see this serrated part here? The wheel goes up over that. This ring goes around. It's bolted down with about 20 pounds of pressure on each one of these bolts. It's pinched in there, and it actually holds the tire to the wheel. In off-road racing, it's a must, especially here at Crandon. If you don't have a bead-lock in your tires, going through turn 1, winning this race are going to be extremely diminished.
We've come down to the final race of the 1993 season. 2- and 4-wheel drive production pickups will battle it out in the Heavy Metal Championship, Class 8s and Class 4s. And this is the Chevrolet starting field. In Chevy Thunder, Class 4 champion Jack Flannery. Alongside will be Scott Taylor, 7S and Class 8 champion. He'll be in the Ford. In the Dodge, Walker Evans from Riverside, California. He will not want to go home without the heavy metal crown. Jeff Dorr in the number 400 Ford from Rockford, Illinois. Now, Linda Lou Schlamm has been running a limited schedule all season long. She's back to race here at Crandon. Kevin Probst in the number 499 from New Lenox, Illinois. Chad Hall from Reno, Nevada. He'll be in the number 411. He had a good run last time out in heavy metal competition at Lake Odessa. Jack Heidman from Marquette, Michigan in the number 406. And Ivan, a total of 31 trucks.
And this is going to be tough. This is going to be chaos getting all these guys down in turn 1. That's only about 40 feet wide down there, Marty.
Yeah, remember, this is a land rush start. You can see how wide, and you cannot see every vehicle in this starting field. They are lined up so far across this race course, and as you pointed out, Ivan, it's going to narrow down. Now, we're on board with Scott Taylor out the front of his Ford. Also on board with Jack Flannery and his Chevy Thunder, and Walker Evans Dodge as well. Get ready. The green flag has dropped. Hold on to your breath, because turn 1 is going to be exciting. We're just going to sit back and watch with you. It looks like Flannery's got the lead. Oh, that's Ken Kincaid. He's gotten sideways. Ivan, 4, 5, 6 different trucks get tangled up in this melee.
Oh, man, he gets sideways and just sucked everybody off to that side of that bank. It looks like they're all wedged in here, Marty.
Scott Taylor is in there. That is Jed Flannery, Dave Hockers, 3 of our most prominent vehicles tied up in this. Take a look again.
And that's exactly what happened. He got sideways, kind of drew everybody back off to the side of the road over there up on that bank, and they just know where to go.
That was Hockers that got into Kincaid. Now let's go on board with Scott Taylor. Watch what happens.
Whoa, he had no chance whatsoever.
Oh, and he T-bones Dave Hockers. Now let's look at what happens to Walker Evans in this mess. He sees it. He sees Vandenhoof. Look at the escape that he makes to the left and then the right.
Walker's been in that position before. He said, I've got to get through this traffic. It made a weavy move. It was perfect.
You can see those guys are still tied up as Jack Flannery has come around 1 full lap.
Again, Marty, that's why we always talk about it's so critical to get through turn 1 clean. Get out of that mess.
Jeff Dorr is in 2nd place.
I think that's Kevin Probst behind him.
That is right. It is Kevin Probst. This is the battle for 2nd place. The best action we have on the race course right now. On board with Walker Evans. He is in 6th place.
I think with that gap, we've got a big gap back to Walker and these guys. This group here, I believe, Marty.
That is Jamie Flannery and Linda Lou Schlamm in front of Walker Evans. Now he's down in the gravel pit section. It looks like he's trying to get around Flannery. He does get past Jamie Flannery. That is 5th place now for Walker Evans.
Notice how he's got to wait to pick the throttle up. Walker Evans, 2-wheel drive. He just can't stand on that throttle. He's like you got to wait a little while.
Well, there is Scott Taylor finally getting untangled from Dave Hockers. so he is well over a lap down. No chance of winning the heavy metal championship. But I guess everything else is going well. Whoa, wait a minute. That looks like Jack Flannery heading for pit lane. Flannery has a problem, and there will be a new leader.
I don't know what could be wrong. He must have a flat tire. Something we can't see, Marty. It obviously sounds good.
Cannot tell from listening, but Kevin Probst inherits the lead. Jeff Dorr is now second. And Probst, what a way to finish his year. He's had all kinds of trouble in the last few races getting this vehicle to the finish line.
Well, he's been fast. He gets good starts. He's obviously got a tremendous amount of talent. Everything is good. He just has some kind of a problem all the time. He just can't quite get to the finish line, Marty. Let's see. Maybe he can do it today.
I've noticed a few flames shooting out of the tailpipe there. We're back on board with Scott Taylor. Taylor heading for the pits as well. So I don't know what's wrong there, but obviously Scott Taylor has some damage from that accident.
He may have got a flat tire or something, going to change tires.
Walker Evans has come back to take third place. Remember the last time we checked with him, he was taking over fifth, and there is the margin. Walker's got a long way to go.
He's got a long way, there's no doubt about that.
So Kevin Probst is the leader. Notice those flames. What are those flames?
I think that's just a little bit of exhaust leak. You get a little bit of air in the exhaust and it shoots a little flame. I don't think that's anything to worry about, Marty.
On board with Walker Evans as we're heading for a commercial at the True Value World Championship. Stay with us. We'll decide the final race of the year after this. Marty, Reid, and Ivan Stewart back with you at the True Value World Championships from Crandon, Wisconsin. That is Kevin Probst. And boy, look at that rear end still bouncing, Ivan. We've talked about it in past races.
It's hard on suspension. It's hard. Evidently, he just can't get that taken out of the truck because that's just not comfortable to have to do that.
Heavy metal championship at stake. Oh, look at the left rear. There's a problem on Probst's truck. The left rear has shredded. It is gone.
He has just lost a complete left side of that rear suspension, Marty.
Now look at the balance of the vehicle. He's still able to try and drive it through the corner where the weight has shifted to the right side of the truck, but now he will have to pull off.
It's a shame. We've seen this happen time after time after time to Kevin. It's just tough with a new vehicle like this. It just needs more testing time.
So this man, Jeff Dorr, now takes over possession of the lead, and Walker Evans is now second. So Dorr has a chance to cap off his season in great style.
But I'll tell you what, knowing Walker Evans, the style and the fury that he's got and the will to win, Jeff Dorr had better be getting on the gas pedal.
Now there is third place, Jamie Flannery right now. Now going back to Walker Evans, if you were with us at Lake Odessa, remember in the Heavy Metal Championship, he was 19th in the first lap and came back to win it. It was a tremendous comeback, the best we've had all season long. Now there is Jeff Dorr with 2 lap vehicles in front of him, and it's allowing Walker to close.
And Walker is closing. Look at the altitude you get. He wants this win. Also, Marty, remember they have the radios. The radios are so critical here. He knows exactly who's ahead of him. His crew's telling him, get the red truck, get the red one.
Dorr has got to be furious. He's got to get around these 2 lap vehicles. It is costing him valuable time. We're on board with Walker Evans, and you can see Jeff Dorr.
He's just right there. And Jeff knows he's got to get by these guys.
Well, they got past one of the lap vehicles, but now it's the second one, and Walker is right behind Dorr. Will Walker go underneath? Yes. Look out, we could have a change for the lead. No, Walker gets the door slammed in his face.
Got finished.
But now he gets around on the outside, and Evans comes through the lap traffic much quicker than Jeff Dorr. 1 lap
to go, Marty. Jeff had better be running.
This is going to be another incredible finish in heavy metal action. It is Class 4, a 4-wheel drive Ford of Jeff Dorr versus the 2-wheel drive Class 8 of Walker Evans. Down the long back chute. On board with Walker. Can he make the pass in the final turn heading onto the front straightaway?
This is where all the talent, all the horsepower, all the truck handling pays off. Can he get him?
4-wheel drive. Dorr pulls him a little bit in that corner.
Look at the amount of dirt he's throwing behind him. Jeff is on that gas pedal.
He knows Walker is right behind him. Look at Walker. All stops are pulled. Evans flying around the right-hand first turn.
Listen to the crowd. The crowd is in it. In the driver's seat, you can sense the crowd is into this race.
Plenty of turns left for Walker Evans. In fact, if it's going to happen, it's got to be the gravel pit.
Right here. He can break him going to the gravel pit.
That is his team. Wife Phyllis, they're in the black jacket saying, come on, Walker, come on. Evans, Jeff Dorr. It is Dorr in front of Evans. One more time. That is the gravel pit. They're side by side. Can he make the pass?
Geoff went too wide. No, maybe he did. He's got that forward drive acceleration. That's where he pulled him, right there.
One final turn to the checkered flag. Geoff Dorr, can he hold off Walker Evans, who's made another stellar comeback? The checkered flag will be for Geoff Dorr. Walker Evans second in a great showdown, and oh, the frustration, the heartache for the Dodge team and the cheers of the fans as they have seen a great race once again in Crandon, Wisconsin at the True Value World Championships. Oh, yeah, you've got to applaud that one. That was a great show. Unbelievable. We'll be back to talk to the winner right after this. Well, I hope you caught your breath, because we certainly have a great finish to the 1993 season. Geoff Dorr beats Walker Evans at the True Value World Championships in heavy metal action. Let's go down to victory lane with Ivan Stewart.
Geoff, I got to be the first to congratulate you. And you just done what many in off-road racers have dreamed of doing, is beat the master. Walker Evans, you beat him across the finish line, but he was coming hard.
He was coming hard. I had trouble in lap traffic, slowed me up, and I'm thinking, I hope he gets slowed up like I do, but I know he can go through that stuff clean. I've seen him do it.
What an incredible way to wrap up the 1993 off-road racing season in Crandon, Wisconsin at the True Value World Championships with a dramatic showdown finish between Geoff Dorr and Walker Evans. We hope you have enjoyed this race season. Accommodations for the ESPN crew provided by Cheney's Country Club and Motel in Leona, Wisconsin. Mobile facilities for the ESPN crew provided by Van Boxtel RV. They're located in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Well, the 1993 Soda World Series of Off-Road Racing began in a mud bath at Lake Geneva. But, Ivan, over the course of our 6 races, we saw some of the greatest racing ever in this series.
Boy, we really have, Marty. I tell you that we've seen it rain, we've seen shine, we've seen all different types of tracks, we've seen rollovers, some fantastic driving. Oh, what a lot of fun.
It has been a great 1993. We want to thank everyone at SOTA, the World Series of Off-Road Racing, all the promoters, the fans, the drivers, everyone involved with helping us bring you the 1993 Racing Series, and we hope you'll join us again next year in 1994. It is going to be another great season. Our champions, Geoff St. Peter, Scott Taylor, and Jack Flannery. For Ivan Stewart, this is Marty Reid. So long for now. We'll see you next time on ESPN's Speed World.